It's May 17, 2024. I got Alec Nava in here with me. It's the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche for Game 6. Head coached by Peter DeBoer of the Dallas Stars. It's Matt Duchene, Jason Robertson, Joe Pavelski, Thomas Harley, Miro Heiskanen, Wyatt Johnson, Jay Ben, Logan Stankoven, Essa Lindell, and Chris Tanev, Tyler Sagan, Mason Marchman, Evgeny Dodonov, Sam Steele, Radek Fox, and Ryan Suter. And then on the back end side of it, you have in the mix of Craig Smith and Derek Pouliot, who I missed on that side of the Jake Ottinger. And then for the Colorado Avalanche, head coached by Jared Bednar, it's Nathan MacKinnon, Arturi Lehkonen, Jonathan Durant, Evan Tays, Cal McCarr, Casey Middlestad, Zach Braze, Mikko Rantanen, Sam Girard, Josh Manson, Ross Colton, Miles Wood, Joel Kiviranta, Chris Wagner, Brandon Domain, Andrew Cogliano with Jack Johnson, Sean Walker, Alexander Gergiev will be the goaltender of record. This has been an excellent series. It hasn't been all one-goal games like it is in the Battle of Canada, but still, the Colorado Avalanche did what they needed to do in Game 5. They won 5-3, and Kel McCarr looked like Kel McCarr. They need to win one more game at Ball Arena tonight to force Game 7, but can they do it? That's the million-dollar question. Alec, how are you doing, my friend?
All twists and turns. Heartbroken from yesterday, if you ask me, because of the Hurricanes not getting that game 7 on the way. It looked like the Canes had this in the bag, up 3-1, but Chris Kreider perhaps had the best individual effort in the third period that we've seen in a Rangers uniform since, let me pull up the name, Mark Messier. I'm not going to mention anything about guarantees, but it looked like Kreider guaranteed victory at the second intermission and right in front of his locker room and took matters onto his own hands for a natural hat trick. Second player ever to do this in a series-clinching game. Third player to do this in a Rangers uniform who scored 3 goals in a period. That's one of the greatest individual efforts in Rangers franchise history, if you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it is a little heartbreak on that side. We did figure out today, though, that the Florida Panthers did advance over the Boston Bruins. They just interviewed Matthew Tkachuk. They're going to play the New York Rangers. That's going to be one heck of an Eastern Conference final, but we still got 2 series to figure out in the West. Dallas and Colorado today, and then the heroics yesterday from JT Miller to score with 30 seconds left against the Oilers. They have a 3-2 series lead.
2 separate times we thought that series would have more overtime games, but ended in regulation after heroics from Evan Bouchard and JT Miller in back-to-back games. And for us saying about Oilers in 5 and that would be decisive, well, I must say we gotta apologize to Redbox on this, or Owen on this, because he anticipated this as a great series, and it is a great series. Every game decided by 1 goal. The team that scored first, 1-4 in this series.
Yeah, that was the first thing I put in my story yesterday, and I couldn't believe it. I had to double-check that. And if you need any cheering up, especially if you're a Canucks fan, you should go ahead and watch Rick Tocchet cook some spaghetti, because that video has been making the rounds. I made sure to share that as well, but he was a player at the time. Pretty interesting stuff. It tells you how life was a lot more simpler back then, and guys made a little bit less money. We saw the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche just the other day, and the Avalanche again look like they usually do. But is this a one-off, or can they do this again tonight, Alec?
I mean, the last game it was on the road, something that they struggled at in the regular season, but that didn't seem to deter them in the playoffs. Playoff Colorado is on, and when playoff Colorado is on, you know magic can happen on the ice. I don't think this is a one-off by any means. If the Avs can win at home, they can certainly do so, but they're going up against the best road team in the NHL, as is the case tonight.
Yes, they are. And again, for the Avalanche, if you talk about some of the stuff in Game 7, the record gets pretty disastrous, more like a 0-6 on the recent side of it. They do not win Game 7s, but they got to get to a Game 7. It's Jake Ottinger and Alexander Gergiev. Ottinger had a human-like performance in Game 5. We'll see if that changes here, because he has been lock and key for the most part. But we're underway, about 25 seconds in, as Nathan MacKinnon gets it sticked away from him and outreach, and Heiskanen We'll send this back around the end boards. Opportunity right out in front of the net. And this will be sent all the way back down the ice and blow dead against the Avs. And that's essentially how we start this game.
Slow start. I feel some point it's got to pick up the pace. Like it has been throughout this series. We saw this in Game 1 when Colorado came back and attempted to come back in Game 2. Dallas was all out in Games 3 and 4, but the Avs had the answer in Game 5. Pretty much it's been a seesaw, if you ask me, this series.
Yes, it has. And again, as this shot is saved right off the draw from Georgiev, I've been talking about trying to cover a basketball game. And then I looked the other day from doing the Canucks and the Oilers that at one point the Denver Nuggets were down by 55 the other night.
Oh, Anthony Edwards did back up his trash talk, dominating the Nuggets by 45 points in the final result. He said, "I'll see y'all for Game 7. We will go to a Game 7, and that'll come on Sunday."
We'll see what ends up happening with them, but I can't remember a beatdown like that against a defending champ. I mean, that was absolutely eye-opening. Again, Colorado doesn't want to suffer that same fate. They want to be able to pick up the Nuggets a little bit and get to a Game 7. As this is now to the right side, Lundell. It gets canceled off the puck. Mikko Rantanen's line's out there right now. He's out in front of the net. He gets the puck. Stick, I think, hit Ottinger, and then now goes the other way for Matt Duchene. As no Rope hints in this one. He sustained an injury a couple of games ago. He will be missed, but Dallas, again, they are very deep, so they should be able to do a lot of damage. Everybody scores on this team, and we noted that throughout the series. Sean Walker off the backhand as the Cerulean and Maroon will try to get this one up. There is spun by Sagan, going down by Walker nicely. He'll chip it right off the glass. That's a perfect play. Here's a race for the puck now for Miles Wood. He's going to negate any sort of hybrid icing. Suter out there trying to go ahead and pick up this puck, and now Dallas does. We'll try to get it the other way of getting to Donov off a long flip. Walker one more time. We get a chance to pick this one up and spin around with Jack Johnson. Johnson now back from Walker off the give and go. Here's a pass from 50 as the Avalanche gain the entry. There's a hit from Colton. This will go all the way back to the Avs logo, and Sam Girard will settle it down across the left side red line. Fire it in. Here's an interception off the outside of the cage, and then a gigantic hit near the left side. Dot took out one of the Avalanche. Sam Steele now racing for the puck. Hopefully we get a number on that soon. My goodness. Girard gets this one now for Wood. Try to get this now off his backhand. He gets taken down. No, Cole was near the left side boards, and Drouin was the one that lost it. Nathan McKinnon picked it up. Here's a chance now off Makar. He'll move for McKinnon. Shoot it through the traffic. This one goes up and out of play.
What a sequence over the Dallas end. We see that big hit, Andrew Cogliano getting framed over at the TNT side. That was ginormous. As he got it away just before he got plastered onto the ice by Craig Smith. That was hard. That was vicious. That was a playoff hockey hit. Something of note from the TNT side. If you want to know how long it's been for Alex Petrovic in between playoff games, 8 years. The last time we seen him in the playoffs, he was wearing a Florida Panthers jersey.
That's absolutely crazy, but when your number gets called, it gets called, I guess. Here's a long wrister, and this one's saved by Ottinger, but it also talks about the point, Alec. Just be ready.
Yeah, that is. Whenever your number is called, you have to be ready at all circumstances. The circumstance here, no Nils Lundqvist. He is out, but also Rope Hintz is out for a second straight game. That's shaking up the lineup. That puts Radek Faksa back in. We were wondering where he was at previously. More of a defensive centerpiece, but he also got the winner in Game 7 of the first round when we called that game.
And shots are the measure of the frame here, as another one right off the draw, Nathan McKinnon. This one gets stopped by Jake Ottinger, but Colorado so far, within the first 3 minutes, not even at that point yet, but they're getting shots on Jake Ottinger and they're being active. That's what they need to do.
Most of these are going from the high side, it seems. From the high slot, Nathan McKinnon fires this way downtown. Perfect placement, it seemed. Ottinger was ready, but so far it's Colorado with the fast start. We were noting about fast starts and that the Avs desperately needed one in this series, and now they're getting the fast start that they have.
Lehkonen will get this one for Jonathan Drouin. Again, he goes into the lineup because Velnichuskin's out. He's not going to be back in an Avs uniform for a long time. We haven't had a chance to talk about that one yet, but it is not good. And Jack Johnson had mentioned some of his quotes. He's made his own decisions. That's yikes right there. Mason Marchment gets the steal. Tyler Seguin tried to send it back. Good reverse step for Nathan MacKinnon. He blows away Marchment. Now Parise, it's McKinnon. This is an opportunity right side chance, and this is saved by Ottinger.
Deep shots from Nathan MacKinnon. Once again, it's the high shot, with Colorado preferring the high side. They have 5 of the first 6 shots, but the common theme here is that Dallas is forcing Colorado to shoot from the high slot, basically limiting their looks onto the low side. Even though that one shot from Andrew Cogliano went wide, the recurring theme here early on, Dallas is forcing them to the high side, which is a good look for them defensively.
Get a chance to get good saves there for Ottinger. Get a chance to see it all the way. There hasn't been a lot of traffic yet, but there's been volume. We'll see if that continues. This is a flip. This will be sent back in the zone. Walker gets all tied up with one of the Dallas Stars. They'll try to take this one left or right. Again, they're in the road rights with the victory green on the top of the arms and the black pants. As this is sent back around away from Sam Steele and the Moose. We'll get it here for Zach Parise. We'll chip this one down. Go ahead and take their change. 15:40 thereabouts left in the first. John Ott with you alongside Alec Nava. This is Game 6. Dallas wins. This series is over. They'll be waiting the winner between Vancouver and Edmonton.
No matter what happens between Dallas and Colorado, so far, we've seen ourselves a good series thus far, just like with Vancouver and Edmonton. And I was thinking, barring extreme circumstances between the Rangers and Hurricanes, that we can crown the Canucks and the Oilers as the best second-round series. Between McKinnon and Makar, in the 3 losses, McKinnon has 1 point, Makar 0 points, but in the wins, they've combined for 9 points. It's amazing and a staggering impact of what both your superstars can bring when your team is winning.
Absolutely, Alec. And again, I know the points are outlandish, but you would have to at least get 80% of that if the Avalanche are going to go ahead and have designs to getting into the third round, let alone winning a Stanley Cup. They're that important, and they are that good. And again, as balanced as Dallas is, you need your superstars on Colorado more than ever to play like superstars.
You do. Just as that shot from Logan Stankoven went up onto the safety netting, you want to have your 2 superstars play like they are superstars on the team. When they're not, it feels like the team as a whole is shutting down. The exception was Game 2 when the depth was tested and they responded in kind, but it was not enough because you do need, indeed, your superstars to step up and rise to the occasion as they did in Games 1 and 5.
Be an opportunity for Matt Duchene. He's on the top line now to replace Hintz, who's up for a second straight game, as Alec mentioned. It's Pavelski. He's gotten on the score sheet from the last game for the first time this playoffs. Opportunity now, Harley spinning around for Duchene. It's been a lot of crisscross here near that right side dot. Here's a wrister, big save, Georgiev. And this puck now is just shoveled to the right side dot, and Nathan MacKinnon already back out there again. This will be an outstretched pass. Devin Tays couldn't make it. This is intercepted by Pavelski and then pushed ahead from right to left. Josh Manson, spin and turn, and leave it here for Nate Dogg. Number 29's got it. I'll drop this one back for Manson. It's Manson and Girard. Here's a good skate for Josh Manson. He's going to get his own puck retrieval, but he hits it outside of the cage. My goodness. As this goes down the left side, it's Parise. He'll get a pin near the left side boards. And here's a rush for Dallas. This will be bounced off the left side red line to Donoff. It's excellent work to try to get that puck in the zone. Sagan, here's an outstretched pass. Mikko Rantanen. Rantanen now 1-on-4. Here's a sauce. This shot goes up in the air now toward the left side dot as it's chipped off the glass. Sent back down. I think offsides is going to be the call here. 13:57 in the first.
I think the puck went out onto the crowd before this ever reached Mason Marchment. But Colorado, they've been firing on all cylinders, even though they're forced out to the outside, as noted time and time again. On the most of their shots, Most of their shots came from the outside, or the high side, from what it looked like. As some of those were from McKinnon, Makar. The two guys that you want to have stepping up in the series if you want to get back here, they're mostly going at the high side because Dallas is forcing them to that spot.
I want to look at the last game that was just played out. Like, I know we can talk about it in the intermission as well, but the Florida Panthers, they're moving on. They'll be playing the Rangers. Gustav Forsling scores with 18:27 in the third, very deep, from assisted by Lundell and Kachuk. If you saw his shot, it went in between the legs of one of the defenders and then in the back of the net past Jeremy Swayman. Is Gustav Forsling one of the best defensemen in the NHL?
We should start taking serious considerations about that. His contract is perhaps the best in the entire NHL as a whole. We speak of how team-friendly Nathan McKinnon's previous contract was. Gustav Forsling may be on an even more team-friendly contract, and he's blossomed into a number one defenseman next to Aaron Ekblad. Keep in mind, Forsling was one of the centerpieces that Florida acquired when trading away Vinny Trocheck, and that's worked out well for both the Panthers and the Hurricanes. Well, just before Trocheck left for the New York Rangers in free agency after the 2022 season, but Forsling has to start getting some down ballot Conn Smythe consideration if the Panthers end up winning the Stanley Cup. He's so clutch on both ends, with Forsling on the turnaround shot at the same place Brandon Montour scored last year's tying goal in Game 7. That was a nice shot, a smart shot that was.
That was a great call out by you, Alec, as well, and I agree. And that's a big measure for that trade, because when I look back at that, what you just told me, I think, wow, that blows my mind. Jeremy Swayman, tough luck loss for him, 26 out of 28. Sergei Bobrovsky, 22 of 23. And now the question is, going into next season, what are you going to do with that tandem? Because Swayman's going to get paid, and then you got Olmark on the other side of it, who could be a free agent. Who knows what they're going to do with him? As this is sent back in around the end boards now after a Colorado shot. This will go all the way down to Georgiev. We'll shovel it aside near the right side. This will be picked up, right side red line. Colorado. We'll get this now to the left. Picked up by Dallas. It'll be Chris Tanev, former Flame, slowly take this left to right. As this is now picked up by the Stars. They'll find an entry off a chip and chase. It's Smith, pinned up against the wall. Nathan McKinnon is lurking. As this is now near the right side boards. It'll be a long flip. Number 29. Put this around the end boards now. Ottinger will stop it. As Harley, he's got it. We'll take a long pass from 50. This gets picked up by Lehkonen, who will shield, but this goes back to the Dallas Stars. Slowly now for Miro Heiskanen from right to left. Heiskanen is one of the best defensemen in the league. We can also talk about him a lot, as well as Cale Makar in this series. As this is flipped in off the glass, Devontae's will watch this one go back to him. Spin around, and we'll start behind the net of Georgiev. Casey Middlestat, who was the pickup from the Buffalo Sabres at the deadline. He tried to bust through the contact of Miro Heiskanen, but he can't. This is an opportunity off a long outstretch and a delayed onside. This will be sent back in across the neutral zone now. Parise is going to stop it, but this goes right to the Dallas Stars. It's your neutral zone battle right now. 12:20 left to go. I see Ian Genji just joined in alongside Alec Nava and myself. John Ott here with you on the call right now, but we will switch off definitely in the second, and then we can kind of mix in that third. And this time I'll have Alec close it. As this is sent back around, here's a slap shot picked up here for Wyatt Johnston. They'll try to put it toward the net. I think it goes up the left pad of Georgiev. Colorado able to pick this one up now with Mikko Rantanen, but the stick chop knocks it away. Miles Wood was lurking for a moment. And this will be sent back down deep. Josh Manson settled it back down. He was looking for Sean Walker off an outstretched pass. It was Walker's pass from Mikko Rantanen, but that got missed. This will be sent down deep. Georgiev will paddle it away. And Walker, this is good defense on the other side for the Stars. Duchesne forced a turnover. Got to be careful not to get any tripping on that, so Stankoven will put it back around the inboards. Here's an opportunity as Wood finishes his check. Now, Colorado's going to go back off the long flip, send this in from 100. This will be sticked away by the Avs defense, and they'll go ahead and take a change as Jared Bednar's squad was already near the bench. 4-4 are the shots on goal. Nothing's your score. We're almost halfway through this first as this is wrapped around. Devin Tays will watch this one hit the netting, and we'll get a stoppage.
I think this could be the way of game.
That's what Mason Marchman is asking for right now. Peter DeBoer, and now the Zebras are conferring.
This is going to be close. Might have been shot off himself and no deflection. Did Makar get this? Yeah, he did. He got this out to the safety netting. Much like what Alex Pietrangelo did at the tail end of Game 4 of last year's Stanley Cup Final. That was Makar on his own over the delay of game. So they're going to call that. Dallas is getting a power play.
Oh, boy. Well, then, I hope you two gentlemen are having a very pleasant evening tonight. I know I am.
If I can guess, the Boston Bruins lost.
And still, the ultimate meme, the Boston Bruins.
Oh boy, welcome to the comedy hour. I appreciate that one, Ian. That was good. I don't think Kale Makar, I'm going to guess on the second bobble, I'm not even sure he knew he had the puck.
I'm not sure if he had that either. I think he's trying to Pavel Barber his way out of the zone. It's such fancy stick work that he don't even... Sometimes you have to be careful where you get these pucks, because I don't know if they're calling it a delay of game or if they're going to waive this one off. I think they're going to waive it off, it seems. The Boer's upset. I think reasonably so. But I think it's a superstar treatment that the refs are giving Makar and just issuing him a warning.
Yeah, and at least the girl that's behind there, who's cute, sipping on a Dr. Pepper, she's not worried about it. She's just waiting for the puck to drop, and so am I.
I mean, we just want this puck to drop as well, don't we?
Casey Middlestat and Matt Duchene, as we will not get a penalty. I think Kale Makar, as I mentioned, dodged a bullet. Here's Rantanen. Try to set it up for Parise to Middlestat, but this pass will go near left side boards. Picked off by Duchene. Here's a long outstretch, and we'll take another puck bounce. This one goes out of play. We're trying to find Robo on a jailbreak. 10:45 left to go in the first.
Good job staying there from Josh Manson to break up that long stretch pass for Jason Robertson. And we look at the goal differential between the first round and the second round for Colorado. They averaged 5.6 goals per game in the first round. Now that number's down to 2.8 against Dallas. I know Winnipeg's a good defensive team this season, but sometimes those defensive structures can get exploited. Dallas's defensive structure is steady.
2-on-1. Almost had a chance to get exploited there, right on call, Alec, as again, the goal score was cut exactly in half. It's Sam Girard who will send this back in around the end boards. It's a loose puck pickup. Girard will play this one off the wall for Manson. Now around the right side here is a look for Parise. Good stick in the lane from Dallas. And Manson has to skate backwards. Getting close to halfway through this first. Again, still 4-4 on the shot board. We're scoreless here in Game 6. Dallas wins. They'll be waiting for the winner between Vancouver and Edmonton. That series will get underway tomorrow night. There's Georgiev. Slow it down, but he turns it right over. This is near the left side red line. Dancing in behind the net now is Jamie Benn. Short side chance. And somehow, Dallas doesn't get a stick on it. And someone gets absolutely upended amongst the chaos. Captain C and Jamie Benn. One more time back in behind the net. Strong power forward using that body. We'll get this one toward the net with Heiskanen. It'll get blocked. And now Stankoven. Try to get this from Miro Heiskanen. He'll drop it to nobody. As it's Cogliano, former star. We'll get this down to the left side. Cogliano try to get toward the net. Gets canceled off. Here is Tays with a wrister up high. It hit Ottinger in the mask, but he made the save. This goes back around for Thomas Harley. And Harley now will try to take this one left to right off an outstretched pass, but Colorado intercepts between the legs. Cogliano there once again, as this will be chipped. Ross Colton will pick it up. Can't find it as Kale Makar, as this one goes back to the defense of Devon Tays. Tays will get a chance of a good outstretched pass. Ross Colton try to play between the legs for Rantanen, and this one will go all the way back down the ice and be blown dead against the Stars.
Start with a 2-on-1 to start things off for Dallas. Right into the zone. Jason Robertson in the midst of it. Matt Duchene in the midst of it. Then you have Jack Johnson leveling Logan Stankovic. Size difference can be a huge differentiating factor when it comes to hits. And Robertson just fans on this 2-on-1 shot. Good feed from Duchene. The puck was bouncing, however, so Robertson had a harder time controlling that loose puck. It was all over him.
That was a good call for you, because I think even though there was defense there, as good as Robertson is, he takes an extra beat. He probably puts that one in the back of the net. But as it stands, 0-0 with 8:30 left to go in the first. As this is a long outstretch pass, and this will be too far for the Avalanche. Picked up now by the Stars defense, Peter DeBoer's squad. Sam Steele's lines out there as this will be chipped in deep, and there is all sorts of contact. In a race for the puck, but Devin Tays able to push it the other way. Pass too far, though, for Nathan McKinnon, although I can see the idea as Devin Tays will slap this around the end boards. Again, Dallas is there, but Mason Marchman can't locate it because Cal McCarr gets the steal. His pass is way too far off the red line, but we're not going to call any icing on this as Odger plays it. And now an opportunity for Chris Tanev to make the outstretch. This is left side red line into the Dallas offensive zone. Tyler Seguin will get pinned amongst the boards by Sean Walker. Marchman trying to emerge with it. Here's a loose puck off an outstretched stick. Rebound off the side of the net. My goodness. And Tanev, as this one gets taken away from him, boy, did Colorado dodge a bullet. This is now finding the entry toward the right side. Here's a spin and turn for Parise. To the right side red line. Short side chance. Ottinger cancels it away with the right pad. This is a spin now for Casey Middlestat. Parise trying to jar it loose. This is a good outlet pass, Jack Johnson. Here's a fluttering puck. This goes off the backboards. And now opportunity, Middlestat gets it back to D. Johnson, can he shoot it again, or what's he going to do here? He'll put this one wide. This bounced up the left pad at one of the Stars. And Johnson keeps it in again. This is near the right side off the boards. And Dallas will finally get a hold of this thing as Chris Tanev will slow it down. 6:45 left to go in this first. John Ott with you alongside Alec Nava and Ian Genji. It's Game 6 between Dallas and Colorado. We're at Bowl Arena, and Colorado's got to win this one to extend to Game 7 in a couple days. Here's an entry off the right wing. Spin and turn. Here's a shot short side. This one goes wide. Near the left side now after a check is finished. Dallas will send it in. And this will be started again for Ross Colton on that bottom six line. Colton, he's got the Jets on, trying to get a stick lift and take that puck away. Dallas, Matt Duchene, backhanded. This will go down to Sam Girard. 6:05 left to go in the first. Sam Girard now will start in his own end from right to left. Take an outstretched pass. This one will get picked off. Devin Tays trying to make a play. He's still on the prowl a little bit with Cogliano. It's a one-on-one race for the puck right now. And hybrid icing called against Dallas.
It sounds like a war of attrition here in the first period. Neither team could get the upper hand on one another. If shots are even, there are looks, but there's all that is to their looks. With Evgeny Dadonov on his backhand trying to sweep this past a wide open cage, just hits the outside of the post.
Seems like we've been seeing this a lot in the playoffs. Either it's 0-0, 1-1, and it just takes it all the way till the end of the game before someone breaks it open.
Absolutely, and these games have been fun to watch. They've been close. It doesn't matter what series we've gotten. It's been this way. And again, in Dadonov, if he hasn't had so many highlight reel plays already, he'd probably having nightmares if he didn't finish that one, but it's still 0-0. This is now on the left side boards. Now Drouin. He's getting worked over. It's loose on the front. Lankinen gets robbed by Ottinger. And this now goes the other way as Stankovic will send it down. And that was an excellent save for Otter.
I wonder if that was a block in front or if Ottinger got some of it right afterwards. But either way, that was spectacular from the Stars' defense. With McKinnon tied up, Lankinen got it away. Was that Chris Tanev who got in front of the shot? It looked like it was Tanev.
Absolutely, Alec. Great call there. I thought that was Andre made the save. Chris Tanev, I guess he's fitting right in from the Calgary Flames, the Dallas Stars. He's used to that kind of business, blocking shots, and that was probably one that saved the goal. Hell, if you didn't get the Dodonov finish, that one probably could have been 1-1, but it's still 0-0. And now Parise will send this one back for Johnson. Put it around the end boards now, Mikko Rantanen. As this is Casey Middlestat trying to find it in the left side red line. Good work there by the Dallas defense. Have to send this all the way around now as Colorado trying to get a piece of this. Sean Walker is on the prowl. He's looking for Middlestat, trying to get it loose on the other side behind the net of Ottinger. And now this will go right to Parise. We'll just take a flutter shot right in front of the net. There's a rebound for Jack Johnson. He's pinned all the way as a forward right now. Middlestat lost it in between his legs, but it took Fox, Dodonov, and several others to take it away. Now Sam Steele, he's going to wait for reinforcements off the 1-on-3. He gets dispossessed off the puck, and this will be flipped into the players' bench.
Well, both players can breathe now that all the chaos is over right now with 4:27 left in the first, but Jack Johnson has been all over the ice, even getting himself involved at the offensive end. He had that hit on Logan Stankoven, but also he had 3 keeps all at the same time. And had a look, he's wide open at one point. Casey Middlestat was as well, but 3 Stars players at the same time basically surrounded him, stripped him of the puck.
Jack Johnson being a productive playoff player, what?
Then you'd have to look back through a kaleidoscope, Ian. Again, as a Michigan man like me, it's been a while for Jack Johnson. You see those kind of plays, even I got a little nervous.
I mean, he does fit Colorado well on a third pairing role.
That's what he can be, but if he's that much of a forward, I was trying to make sure I didn't bite my tongue because it got me a little nervous there, but for sure, that's what we've seen right now. This has been a pretty good first period. I think Alex is going to have a good time in the second from where this game is going. At least I'm starting to see, I will say this because selfishly I picked Colorado when everyone else took Dallas, but I'm starting to see the Avs find their game over the last couple, and I think really, Alec, it comes down to the Stars playing like Stars, as we mentioned, but Colorado, they're playing that desperate hockey right now, and I think it's serving them well. I don't know if it's going to get them past the Game 7, but it could certainly get them 2-1.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, I'll give them that. That Colorado, they're fighting for their lives in this game and the last game. And it's working to an extent. They've won Game 5, plus Game 6. They're starting out nicely as they're showing Chris Tanev, who has 47 block shots in this postseason, which is tied at first place with Jacob Trouba for the playoff lead. And meanwhile, if we're seeing another series in the NBA where the home team has won the first 6 games, this looks to be exactly the case with the Knicks and Pacers. The Pacers are up by 17 now.
Man, again, some of these games, as much as I want to cover them, they've just not been as competitive. And that's the kind of thing that steers me away because you want to make sure you get viewers and interest. But, yeah, it's been home team splits and it's been blowouts, although not quite like yesterday from what we talked about. That was crazy. Here's an opportunity now for Duchesne off the drop. Colorado will get this one out. Mikko Rantanen able to get the pass back. Middlestat, here's a great pass. And that was a weak shot. They were looking for a rebound right on front of Ottinger, but it was for naught. Joe Pavelski now finds the entry. He'll slow up off the backhand. His pass just bounces off Colorado sticks. They'll get this across neutral as Rantanen will shoot it in from 100. This is gloved down by Ottinger, and he almost misplayed that in between his legs. But it's 3:40 left to go in the first as Chris Tanev will settle it down. I wouldn't want to do that too much more as Tanev try to take this outstretch from 100, and this will be iced.
Oh, missed pass. That's the most dangerous 2 words when you're trying to do a stretch pass up for the ice because you're risking an icing in this. That time was a missed pass. The icing resulted, but Jake Ottinger, that was very dangerous on the way that he misplayed it right after he did a kick save right on Josh Manson. There was a low deflection off one of Ottinger's own players. No rebound from Zach Parise. And you go back to the broadcast in which I was trying to cover another game. Well, Ian advised me to do Nuggets Timberwolves Game 6. I decided not to. Did Rangers Canes instead. It worked to a degree on my end.
Yeah, at least you got one that was closer, but you didn't have the heartbreak. But the other one, have you ever covered a game as we get some pushing and shoving here? I'll get back to that point in a moment. This is a melee right now. Near the right side boards, Devin Tays wants a piece of everybody.
Kind of feels like Super Smash Bros. Here. I mean, you speak of melee, we can throw the term melee on this. You'd not be wrong. No gloves right now, but you ask about, have I ever covered a game that is lopsided? Well, not as much as to the degree as Timberwolves Nuggets. We didn't expect an absolute beating in Game 6. We figured it would be closer, but now that it's going to 7, we just don't know what's going to encounter in Game 7. But Anthony Edwards is calling his shot. That'll be the greatest Game 7 in NBA history. Well, that's bold words given, but it's a bold take. But if it's going to be the greatest Game 7 in NBA history, I feel it has to live up to that. Should not disappoint there. We've seen some legendary Game 7s such as 2013 in the NBA Finals, 2016 in the NBA Finals. Those two come to mind.
So we'll take a break here. I saw that Marchment and Kel McCarr was a little bit of a headlock. I don't think any penalties are coming out of that, but Kel McCarr did get dispossessed of his helmet.
Well, let's say it did, but it's a lot of headlocks throughout that scuffle. Don't know if there are going to be any gloves dropped, but if it were to involve Mason Marchment later, we would not be surprised.
No. I wanted to make sure I didn't jump on Ian because I know that he was activating his mic, but I agree with you on the basketball side of it. We'll see what ends up happening with that in the Game 7 side. I do like Anthony Edwards. I like his confidence, and I like the fact that he wants to score on the best players one-on-one, but I've seen some of his quotes saying, you guys can't guard me one-on-one, so that's why I never get the matchups that I want. It's bold words from the young man, but I think they're up to the task. And I would have to imagine, I don't know what Michael Malone said in that locker room or after the game, but the Nuggets, I know this goes without saying that they're going to have a better performance, but just what was that the other night?
I mean, you look back at the worst performance Denver had in Game 2 on the season, they somehow won up that in Game 6, and even worse performance than that. I mean, and this time this was with Rudy Gobert on the lineup, so to play devil's advocate, I think Gobert turning it around from Game 5, hearing all the slander they said, and let me be honest, I'm not blaming Games 3 through 5 on Gobert because that to pinpoint the blame on entirely on him is irresponsible and it's just flat out stupid in my opinion. Yes, I get that Jokic was 8 of 9 against him in Game 5, but still, Gobert limited Jokic to 11 of 28 in the 3 games Gobert played prior. Game 6 was the magnum opus of defense for Minnesota.
Yeah, I do want to throw a quick point out of that, and then I'll jump in the play-by-play, because there was one of those games where Gobert also, as you mentioned, he had like a 7-7, 9-9 type game. I just think there was one of the ones where Jokic took it personally, that he got Defensive Player of the Year against the MVP, and he had a highlight reel game. It happens sometimes, because, oh, by the way, it's a third MVP for Jokic, so I think your point is well taken. Here's an opportunity now. Nathan McKinnon! What a move! As this one is stopped there for Ottinger, but again, that's the number 29 that I like to see. 2:30 left to go in the first. Again, we always talk about Connor McDavid, but I put Nathan McKinnon in that same conversation. Here's an opportunity, Wood providing the screen, but the pass doesn't get there. Logan Stankoven now off the left side. He just lost the puck. It got broken up by the Avs defense. Harley send this one back down, and the Stars will look to start again. This will be a stick shot, and toward the left side red line. Bounces over Miles Wood. I'll try to make this play as Jake Ottinger now will have to go out and play with the stick. Dallas will go left to right across center ice. Here's a drop for Radek Faksa. He played here on one of the games earlier in the series, and he can definitely do so. Long-time Dallas star. You know that he's capable of these moments. As Mikko Rantanen, Sam Steele. This is picked up now to the left side blue line. Here's Parise. They'll make a nice move. toe drag work his way on the backhand now for Mikko Rantanen. Great pass in front. Good save for Ottinger. As this goes back down now to the left side blue line, Jake Ottinger's made some fantastic saves in this first period. This should easily be a one-goal lead for Colorado. I know there's been some rebounds and some bounces, and Parise probably missed a wide-open one if it didn't bounce off of his stick and off a body, but still, good saves there for Colorado. As this is sent back down for the Avalanche, they'll pick it back up in their own end off the Dallas clear. And again, as you mentioned, Colorado could easily be up in this game, but it's still 0-0. This is now an opportunity for Matt Duchene off the spin and turn, speaking of the Avs, former Av at that. Sent back around the inboards, Pavelski, one-timer. This one blocked out in front. Jonathan Drouin will get this one for Nathan MacKinnon. He's got Lehkonen to his left. Nathan MacKinnon now. He toe drags Lehkonen. Oh, he can't get it all. And Ottinger made the save.
It should be 2-1 Colorado, for being honest, when you count the Evgeny Dadonov missed goal on the outside the post. But Nathan MacKinnon, sweet moves over to the outside. Not once, but twice. Hayes did so right on the Dallas defense. Lehkonen had this one bounce right over to his stick. Can't get the finisher on the rebound. With MacKinnon going coast to coast, made Thomas Harley look silly. And this open rebound for Lehkonen, just couldn't pounce this one in.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, especially when you're talking there, Alec, but I also don't mean to laugh at Thomas Harley, but Nathan MacKinnon. That was a special move. This one goes all the way down. It's a race for the puck. Georgiev will play it, and his pass, fortunately for the Avs, gets cleared across that blue line. Here's an opportunity now for the Avs, but it's picked off. Good keep in here as Middlestat gets it across, and Manson trying to make a play. You see the Avs defense, especially in this first, are pressing up like the forwards are. They're really trying to create offense. It's worked out pretty well, but we're going to go to the end of the first. We're scoreless somehow.
For some reason, it should be 2-1. Once again, as I want to note out, how do we not have any goals in the first period? We have one puck go off the outside the post. There was another which was blocked from Casey Middlestat. Lehkonen had a bouncing puck go over his stick. That's how.
It's a good period. You got any thoughts there, Ian?
You guys have pretty much pointed out the main points of this game. I actually was going to say something about the Game 7s before you guys jump back in, because there's actually one Game 7 that has a very memorable call. Is this the dagger?
Oh, yeah.
And that was the dagger through the 76ers' heart, thrust in by Kawhi. Game 7 Raptors versus 76ers in 2019.
Yep.
I will say, Ian, that's probably my favorite basketball memory of recent variety. That might be one of the ones of all time, honestly.
Yeah. This up with Mike Breen's call of Ray Allen's game-tying shot, with a block by James in the finals. Any other memorable calls, the double bang, any one of those from Breen in basketball, or the Brian to Shaq from Bob Costas.
Off the lob, yep.
Actually, I know we were going to talk hockey, but I have a question for you fellas. Across all sports that you watch,
across the 4 sports that we watch, what?
So, favorite call of all time across the 4, that would be kind of difficult. By sport? Okay. I'm going to go with the old school one for me. Again, I know it's before both of your guys' time or whatever, but it's a memory I have as a kid. You see the Jordan spin off like Patrick Ewing and getting that dunk across the baseline. That's a great one. That's one of my favorite ones. Hockey side, can I say selfishly the Steve Eisman blue liner against the St. Louis Blues? That brings a lot of wholesome memories back to me. I imagine that Alex got some good ones because, hell, you even had Marc-Andre Fleury rob Nick Lidstrom in a Game 7, which still burns my heart, but gives Alec delight. Were some good ones.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah, that's one of my favorite calls as well. That and the aforementioned blocked by James Haynes call from Mike Breen in basketball. And also the Chris Kunitz double overtime howitzer right by Craig Anderson, that Game 7. Or the Nick Bonino one with the Bonino in the Hockey Night Punjabi back in 2016 in the Cup Final. Is something up because I can't hear Ian?
I can. I don't know if it's messed up or not in the space.
Yeah, it feels like my Wi-Fi disconnected at first, and then it came back on. So it briefly went to without Wi-Fi on my phone, then came back on Wi-Fi. It was for a split second, but all of a sudden I can't hear Ian. Yeah, I'm still not here. All right, let's try this again. All right. I got him back inside. Try now again, Ian.
So, for football, I'm going to have to go with Kevin Harlan. Well, a combination of Tony Romo and Kevin Harlan. I think you know what this is. I'm getting confused. What game do you call it? I'm calling both games.
Best one.
Yeah, and then there's any number of ones for basketball. Another Kevin Harlan one is this the dagger, and then both commentators just going nuts when he makes the shot. Hockey, you know what? I gotta give it up to the retired GOAT of commentating. Anytime Doc Emmerich yelled score, it made you jump out of your seat.
Oh, for sure. I'm kind of surprised you didn't go with the "it's knocked in by Maroon."
That's more of a, that's a great memory, but I'm just talking on the basis of just what would get me juiced anytime I watched a national game when Emmerich was commentating. I go back once in a while and just listen to the best calls by Doc Emmerich. Just the compilations. And then for baseball, it's an easy one. Matt Vasgersian. Anytime a big play happens and he yells Santa Maria. more specifically, first time it happened was David Bodie's walk-off. Santa Maria! Walk-off slam! Either that or there was a playoff series between the Nationals and Giants. He says, it's like, and it's a lot, and it's a fair ball. Panic scores. They're gonna try with Posey. The third play is the time to get off.
Make sure you don't blow a voice register there, Ian.
Yeah. I'm trying to reach his octave, and it's not.
Yeah.
Oh.
I do want to make a quick point to what you just said, Ian, though, for Doc Emmerich, because I'll watch some of those sometimes, and it's pretty crazy because I know the LA Kings wasn't that long ago during their dynasty when they'd won a couple, when it's just Game 7, Martinez, and that's all you got to say, and that encapsulates the moment, and that's how you know Doc Emmerich's good. He just lets the game speak for itself.
He does. Yeah, so did Gary Farn back in the
Sure,
old
Gary
ESPN
Ford
days.
was excellent.
Or it was the puck is loose in the pile. Score, Henry.
Right. It's just, you don't have to oversell anything. Sometimes I might be guilty of that, and I know my own faults in that. But that's what I try not to do, because I think in between for all of us, especially for me, you, Alec, and all that, I think that we're always pretty prepared, and we try to let the game speak for itself. You got to bring the emotion to it, but I think it's also important to not oversell it. And I think that's what the good ones do.
Yeah, that's not always true when being a broadcaster up at the booth.
So those are some good ones. I like those memories. Again, I don't have as many like baseball ones, because I can't remember who called the Tigers are going to the World Series on the TV side for Maglia Ordonez's home run. I know the Tigers broadcaster Dan Dickerson's a good one, but like those are some good memories. But I mean, man, it's pretty dark right now if I'm thinking on the other side for like the Tigers, because no Bally Sports, the Pistons being so bad. Again, I didn't get a chance to even talk to you or Alex since then. You know what? I'm tired of the draft lottery. Maybe it's just me complaining, but I'm going to go back to, which I wish baseball still did, where it was, the worst team gets the first pick. Football still does it, but now the Pistons have the worst record again, and they fell to 5 again.
In what world do we see this happening twice in a row, where the worst team in the NBA picks 5th twice in a row? It doesn't make any sense, John.
Because the only thing I want to say, Alec, and I feel like you're going to agree on this, but okay, I can call sour grapes, and that's fine. I can fully admit that. But when you're in that situation, you can also say, well, the Pistons don't do anything with the picks anyway. Fair point. But when the Atlanta Hawks potentially get the first pick as a play-in team, and you want to talk about like how in the NFL you can go worst to first, and that's kind of the point. I think the draft lottery sometimes does the exact opposite of that. Mediocre teams can just continually stay mediocre.
Yeah. And when you have a team that has a 3% chance of getting the first pick, something's up with the draft lottery. I mean, it's not consistent around. I mean, you see all the times the New Jersey Devils landed the first pick in the draft.
Sure.
But would it be through absolute luck through all of that? You had the New York Rangers getting the first pick, though that was in special COVID rules when it looked like that. But now, you have the Pistons picking 5th. They were the worst team. Something is seriously wrong when you have it twice in a row.
Let me just ask one other quick question. I'll leave it to you guys. Would you rather, in a situation, just go back to the worst team gets the first pick in all sports?
Well, I lean that way.
I mean, okay, look, I understand what they're trying to do with the lottery. It's supposed to reduce. It's supposed to reduce the. It's supposed to reduce blatant tanking, which, honestly, it's not working. Because, look, John, maybe you can tell me more than anything. You can tell us better than anyone, being from Detroit. Were the Pistons trying to tank this year, or were they just bad?
That's my thing, Ian, when I'm thinking about it. I think they were just historically bad, and they were actively trying to win. This was not the Joel Embiid process. The Pistons are just really, really bad.
Yeah, so I don't understand the lottery system. For me, for the NBA and the NHL, Kansas City doesn't have pro sports teams, so I don't really get all of the arms about it. But now that the MLB has a draft lottery, and I see it. Listen, last season, the Royals lost 106 games. They had one of the worst records in the MLB. Certainly certainly a record that was worse than. Let me look at. Okay, if you'll indulge me a bit, I'm going to look up the MLB records for the 2023 season, just so I can go ahead and tell you what it was. So, the teams with the worst records in each division were the Boston Red Sox, 78-84. The Kansas City Royals, 56-106. The Oakland Athletics, 112. That was for the American League. For the National League, you had the Washington Nationals, 71-91. Cardinals, same record. The Rockies, 59-103. Now, you would think that by regular rule, before the lottery, it would be those 6 teams, mainly Oakland. Oakland would get the first overall pick, and I believe, the Royals would have gotten the second. However, this is what
I believe that was the year, too, that they first instituted in Detroit. Might have moved up to number 2.
The first selection, last year, in last year's draft, the first overall pick belonged to the Pittsburgh Pirates. They were bad the year before. That makes sense. But this season, the first overall pick is going to the Cleveland Guardians.
Wow.
That was a big curveball.
Oh, it gets better, because let me tell you what Cleveland's record was.
Right.
Cleveland went 76-86. How does that work?
Well,
Hashtag abolish the draft lottery. I'm for it.
Because I'm going to have some sour grapes too here, John. The Royals got the 6th overall pick.
That's not fun, Ian. I'm with you all the way.
And let me hang on, just for further insanity, before we get the second period underway, let me go ahead and tell you the rest of this, because this is nuts. Okay, after the Guardians, it makes a little bit more sense. Because, actually, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Because, so this is the draft order. You have the Cleveland Guardians, the Cincinnati Reds, who had a decent season last year. You had the Rockies picking at number 3. You had the Athletics, the worst team in the MLB, picking at number 4. You have the Chicago White Sox, who finished with a better record than the Kansas City Royals, picking at 5. You have the Royals picking at 6. Behind them, behind the Royals, after the Royals, here's how it goes. You have the Cardinals, the Angels, the Pirates, the Nationals, the Tigers picking at 11. You have, and then after that, Red Sox, Giants, Cubs, Mariners, Marlins, Brewers, Rays, Mets, Blue Jays, Twins, Orioles, Dodgers, Braves, Padres, Yankees, Phillies, Astros, D-backs, Rangers, and after the first round, it's the Rangers picking last, which is the only thing that makes sense. But but the top is screwy because by normal rules, it would be the Athletics picking first, the Royals picking second, the Rockies still picking third, and then it would go from there.
Right.
But you have the Cleveland Guardians, who finished third in the AL Central last season, with a mediocre 76 and 86 record, picking first.
How?
I don't know. I mean, and also, as we've seen, there are certain first-round picks that they don't need a full year in the minors to get up to the bigs.
Right.
A la Paul Skeens, who is a freaking flamethrower. Jesus, I'm jealous of you, Alec. I am so jealous of you as a Pirates fan. How?
He just had 11 strikeouts today against the Cubs.
He had 6 no-hit innings.
Just one walk as well.
Paul Skeens today, 7 consecutive strikeouts to start the game.
Yeah, the kid throws like 103 too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. I believe we're getting the second period underway now, so we can discuss this later down the line.
Go ahead and take it, Ollie.
Here we go. So we're 45 seconds deep. We have not any scoring, but Jonathan Drouin, he had a wide open look earlier in the second period. We're still in the first minute, about to conclude it. Heading to the second minute of the second period. I'm Alec Nava, John Ott, Ian Gingy next to us. So glad that you all can join us. We're scoreless. This puck going offside. We're 56 seconds deep.
Critical question here, Alec. I know this might be a small one. Any concern that Dallas only has 5 shots on goal after one period?
If games 3 and 4 are any indication, I'm not concerned about Dallas.
Okay, I just want to throw that out there because this is one of the first times that I've seen that. Again, I only got to cover one of these ones. Dallas is still a game away from going to the Western Conference Finals, and they're going to get their best against Colorado tonight.
I mean, they did play with lights-out defense. Oh, missed pass for Jason Robertson. That was a stretch pass. And those are the two most dangerous words. Missed pass on a stretch pass. That's going to lead to an icing. Colorado will have it back at their offensive end.
They're outlining the physical play there. Devin Tays, Manson. That was a vicious one against Cogliano that we called Gerard. It's been all over the place now between these two teams, and no penalty against the Cale Makar-Marchment hold.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, Marchment, he was in the middle of a scuffle of Makar. I'm not surprised if we are not seeing the end of it. There's a long shot. Ottinger turned that one away. Hits are 26-18 so far at this point, the second period. Imagine there's going to be a lot more. Oh, this pass exited the zone. Bad pass for Taves. Avalanche reset. Ottinger slows it down. Near corners, Lindell, opposite side, Tanev. Dallas trying to clear to close this series out and avoid a game 7, which could be possibly on Sunday. Here's McKinnon. He's entering inside. Burst of speed. Now behind the net. McKinnon serving at the far side. Finds the open. Josh Manson at the right point. Long shot from Gerard. Did not make it all the way through. Dallas clears this one out. Robertson poked it forward. Gerard over to McKinnon. And the stretch pass doesn't work at it, but it goes back for McKinnon. Entry feed. And down for the far side is Joel Kiviranta. He was with Dallas, who scored a hat trick against him in that at Game 7 in 2020. This puck played down and will be moved down right near Georgiev. This play of a high stick, they're going to wave this play dead as Evgeny Dadonov touches it up with 17:40 left.
I know they're going to profile Nathan McKinnon here, but I'm just going to say it right now. From what I've been watching this first period and now going into the second, I think number 29 is locked in today.
We all know about playoff McKinnon, and he can be dangerous on the ice on both ends of the ice. The speed that he brings and the forecheck that he brings onto the ice, he plays a complete 200-foot game. So off this face-off, Ryan Suter sends this one around for the near boards. It's picked up by Johnson. Up around this goes. Colorado can't get to it. That was Kiviranta was close by. Johnson now tied up by Dallas. Dadonov on the hold. Panorama's shot was kicked aside by Georgiev. Suter on the hold. Down low at the near corners, Marchment bouncing puck out in front to the left circle. Kiviranta on the hold, the former Star. He and Cogliano were on the Stars team in 2020 that made it to the Stanley Cup final. The Avs are back with this. Glove down by Suter. The bouncing puck chipped to himself as he feeds it over to the right side. A shot. Georgiev stopped that one. Colorado back with it. Here's Miles Wood. Backhands this one all the way to Dallas' end. The icing waved off. Thomas Harley picks it up on his own end. Harley onto center ice. For the left side. Bouncing puck collected by Steele. He lost it, but it's held inside by Harley. Shot onto Georgiev. The rebound in front. Left circle. Haskins shot blocked in front by Cogliano. He gets his own puck back. Now back over to Foxa. Up and around for the near side. Around for the far side now. DeHane twisted and turned, but it's helped out by Manson. Cogliano clears. All the way down to Dallas ice. Banked it off the boards. The bouncing puck recollected at center ice by Stankoven. Deflected in by Foxa. Full race for the puck. It's Gerard picking up first. And at the far side the wall, near the Dallas bench. Avs send this one down for the line as the Stars resetting. Harley gets to the far end for Sam Steele. Up and around the backhand. Tied up Jamie Benn. That was Manson who gets shoved on by Ben. And the Avalanche get this one down. Ottinger plays it over to Tanev away from McKinnon. That was dangerous. Lindell at the near boards. Pass intercepted. Here comes Kel Makar. Makar forced behind that. Wraparound. Drew in. What a stop. And it's up high. Back over to the right point is Taves. The cross-ice pass. Back for Makar. Taves back with this now. Fires a long shot deflected over wide of Ottinger. And some weird camera activity. It feels like we're having some trouble with the camera. But Dallas gets us down. How good was that look for Colorado? We were so close having this potentially be a possible 3-1 game as Suter gets us away from Middlestat. And the Stars get this down. Bouncing puck corralled down by Duchesne. The offside is waved off. Here's Duchesne who's inside. If this is a goal, then Colorado could challenge. Well, Lee does an afterthought. We have a call here. 2 minutes. Matt Duchesne cross-checking.
Absolutely, Alec. First one of the game. And again, Jake Ottinger, for any worries that you had in the previous, you don't have it now. Kel Makar with a great move. First gets a chance to steal this across neutral ice, wraps it around, goes off the post. Couple chances go off the right pad of Jake Ottinger. Man, oh man, how good has he been?
Almost wrapped this one around successfully as he caught Ottinger on an island at the left side or the right side of the post. We're getting the penalty. That was Sam Girard who got tugged down by Duchesne. That's a clear call. Near corner, the official saw that.
And now their number one centerman's off the ice.
Now that is the case, you have the most dangerous man on the ice right now for the Avs. Well, you can say that for either one of McKinnon and Makar. You would not be wrong. They're both dangerous for every bit of the reasons for what they're listed. Jonathan Drouin back on the first power play unit. His pass goes to nobody, and Johnston's going to pick this one up. In the 2 wins, Colorado's 4 for 5 on the man advantage, and the 3 losses, they're 0 for 8. Johnston looking at the near corner. Shorthand is Dallas. Johnston moving inside. Past McKinnon. Now forced over to the near corner again. Oh, he is leveled! You don't see that often from Makar, but he just leveled the boom right on Johnston. Here's Rantanen. Opposite side. Back for Rantanen. Gets tied up. Drowan keeps his one alive over to the point for Makar. Makar finding McKinnon. And a return feed right back to number 8. Down low is Drowan at the near corner. Here's Makar again. McKinnon. Back for Makar, the Calgary native. Over to Drowan. At the top of the right circle. Drowan looks down low for Rantanen. Rantanen fires and scores! On the power play! The Avs get another one from Mikko Rantanen. They get the first goal.
Highlight reel all over the place, courtesy of Kel Makar. Delivers the boom as Wyatt Johnston was trying to make some space to clear the puck and kill some time. I didn't think it was a bad play, but he got absolutely destroyed. And then Colorado got into their offense as it was wheeling and dealing for Makar, and then just sniped that long side on the left from a Drouin pass, dusted off Mikko Rantanen. It's 1-0. That's a lift over the right bar and in.
Well then, gentlemen, so it begins.
That was top shelf. Yet so we begin on the goal scoring. Roofed it at the smallest possible area than which Rantanen could find, but that was the area which he is effectively lifted at. He elevated that onto the top right corner as we get an icing against the Avs. But what a shot! What a rip!
That was absolutely clinical. And again, we've been talking about it. Now, most goals in elimination games. How about this list? Joe Sakic, 11, Michael Goulet, 8, Mikko Rantanen, 7. That's some Avs legends.
Mr. Elimination Game, as some would say, for any one of these. Sakic with 11 of them. He has the NHL postseason lead in overtime game winners with 8. Now here's Colorado up for the ice. Rantanen with 7 goals, 6 assists in elimination games. 13:46, this puck goes out of play again.
Alec, in between Nathan McKinnon and Kel McCarr, does Mikko Rantanen get lost in that, or is he really a big 3 in your eyes? Because he is to me. He really is that good, too.
Yeah, that's a big 3, no doubt, John.
Yeah, I really like Mikko Rantanen's game. Again, he does a lot of the heavy work in front of the net. That was a heck of a shot.
That was one gigantic shot. You were saying, Ian?
I'm sorry, if I could have a brief intermission here. I know we were talking about Detroit sports earlier. I just want to point out that the Detroit Tigers are putting are 13-0 on the Arizona Diamondbacks right now. Just giving them a bludgeoning.
I mean, we'll come to a stoppage now, so good time to discuss that 13-0 on the reigning World Series runner-ups. How in the world?
Okay, I'm going to interject one thing, Ian, and then you can take all the time. Because they just got shut out twice by the Miami Marlins.
Oh, how? And in the meantime, the worst team in the NL West, the Colorado Rockies have, let me pull this up right now. The Colorado Rockies are on a 7-game winning streak and are currently winning and are currently beating the San Francisco Giants 4-1.
¿Qué? ¿Qué en este mundo? I had to say it's in another language because 7-game winning streak. ¿Qué en este mundo?
If you're telling me, again, Ian, I'm glad you brought this up because I was going to make a joke. It's 13-0 for the Tigers, as you said, and Javier Baez, of all people, has 5 RBI. I don't know. That's not explainable.
Wait.
Bulls pitching, so I knew that was going to be good, but come on.
Wait. The Lord of Albatross contracts currently has 5 RBIs in this game.
He's 3 for 4 with 5 RBI and 2 doubles.
What?
Oh!
God, say that again.
3 for 4, 5 RBI, and 2 doubles for Mr. Javier Baez, who was batting 185.
Okay, so... Okay, it's obvious someone screwed up the original timeline. Someone get it back, please.
Quit stepping on these butterflies.
I mean, we're stepping all over the place with the butterflies, aren't we?
Wait, John. Was that a Sound of Thunder reference?
If it was, I didn't mean to.
I mean, unintentional, but can work. And we speak of Sound of Thunder. That's what Mikko Rantanen brought here in the second period. That shot went wide. We're back in this game. We have elapsed 6 minutes and 59 seconds in the second. This is the first time the Avalanche have scored first all series. Dead serious on that. Game 6, first time that they've scored first all series long. Dallas has had the first goal in the first 5 games. This time it's Colorado's turn to have the first goal of the game. Stankoven tied up by Drowan, but that's a bonkers stat. You can't believe that it is a real stat, but here we are, guys.
And somehow they made it to the second round.
They did because of the disappointment that Winnipeg has experienced, but to say that the Winnipeg Jets have disappointed may be the understatement of the year. 6:45 gone, or 7:45 rather, as this was poked away by Esa Lindell. The referee jumped over this puck for Chris Tannen to handle. Harris Smith entering, drop pass it over to Steele, who delayed on it. That fan's shot from the point was picked up by Miles Woods, shoved towards the penalty box doors. Dallas will get this one out to center. Bouncing puck up for grabs. Kiviranta tied up. Smith had it for a moment. Faksa helped them out. He is shoved towards the far corner. He kept it in. And a deep shot that bounced off of someone. That was Alex Petrovic taking a shot. 28 in white in the victory green. Avs are back in, but they're offside by a nose hair. 11:37 to go.
You couldn't have told me if the shot attempts were 12-9 that I would have thought there's been action all over the place in this game. And yet there has been. As you said, Alec, this probably should be a 4-3 type game, but yet it's 1-0 Avs.
It is. It's 1-0 Colorado, but because we had several outstanding plays on both sides, we have this result, which prevented what you said, a 4-3 result to this point in this game. It's not high scoring, but these two teams are some of the highest scoring teams in the NHL, but some of the best defensive teams that the league has had to offer. Yevgeny Dadonov was caught offside with 11:22 left.
Again, I'm wondering, I mentioned with Alec, he's going to think that the shot differential is not going to bother him just yet, but I do see Colorado playing a much better game that they needed to in Game 5. They're doing so in Game 6, and yet I kind of feel like how Mr. Nava does. I'm thinking Dallas can break out at any time, but man, oh man, I think they do miss Rope Hintz.
I think that's the absence that's bothering them. This absence may have hindered Dallas on their lineup, and it's showing in here so far that they need him back in time for a Game 7. And they would love to clear him as Petrovic is rushing back. Ottinger played away from Brandon Duhaime with Duhaime close by. That was dangerous. Well, sometimes Steve Dangle would say if your goaltender tend to goal, but that was not played into a freebie situation for Colorado. Mason Marchment to the right side. That one kicked out by Georgiev on an easy save. 10:50 to go. Sent inside by Chris Wagner, the former Bruin. Ottinger played it out over to the left side. He is intercepted again by Makar. Makar couldn't handle it. Now it's down low for Parise. Cross ice. Rantanen couldn't bank this one home. Now the cross ice pass. Middlestat just kept it inside. Here is Parise at the near corner. Parise for Middlestat. Middlestat twisted and turned. Back at the point, walking is Makar. Across for Taves. At the left point. Taves sends his one over to the high. Swap for Middlestat. Now back over the left side for Taves, who looks to the left corner. Rantanen, who continues to survey. Left point, Taves. On this deep pass back for Makar at the right point. Crisscross they go. It's held at the right point. This side is Taves. His shot blocked in front by Jopa. And he'll air this one out on the backhand over to the open Matt Duchene. No one-on-one situation there. Makar shut him off. And this deep entry, Ottinger played this one out. Past McKinnon and onto a Dallas stick. That was Harley. Now 4 for Robertson. This one went right by him. Deflected in, past the red line. Colorado restarts. And a stretch pass over to McKinnon. Nathan McKinnon forced backwards. Rushing back to his Gerard. Away from Ben. Cut away on the pass. Drowan got tied up. This one's up high. This might be out of play with 9:36 to go. And we'll take a stoppage.
Yes, we will. 12 shots on goal to 9. It's been that way for a little bit. Your only goal in this game so far, Mikko Rantanen on the power play, Jonathan Drouin and Kel Makar at 5:48, Alex Georgiev 10 out of 10, Jake Ottinger 11 out of 12 as we take a TV timeout.
So I know we just talked about this earlier, but the result is final. We will have a Game 7 in Madison Square Garden. The Indiana Pacers 116-103 over the New York Knicks to overcome a 31-point effort from Jalen Brunson. Is Spicy P, Pascal Siakam, leading the way with 25 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and chimed in defensively with 2 steals. Tyrese Halliburton, 9 dimes in the win.
They need to find a way, the Indiana Pacers do, to be able to get Tyrese Halliburton to play a strong game on the road if the Indiana Pacers are going to take out the Knicks at the Garden in Game 7.
Agreed. But man, you know what though? You see, here's the thing. If Pascal Siakam can replicate what he did tonight at the Garden, they may not need Tyrese Halliburton to turn into Superman, because when you've got, truth be told, up until this game, Pascal Siakam has not lived up to what he was traded to be. He's underperformed. Tonight was the first night I think he led the Pacers in points this entire playoff. So, if he does that at the Garden, all the Pacers have to do is have a balanced scoring attack.
You might be right about that, Ian. I see 25 points and a plus 20 to help lead his team when he's on the floor. That's good work.
Indeed. That good work indeed for the Pacers to force that Game 7. They have to win one on the road. The only road game that they've won, that came back in the first round against the Milwaukee Bucks. That was in the opener. We're back here from Denver, Colorado, at Ball Arena, the home of the Avalanche, the home of the Nuggets. The Nuggets will play a Game 7 here at this venue on Sunday against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Right now it's Game 6 between the Avs and the Stars. It's down low. Lehkonen can't touch it. And the Stars get this one out on the long-range clear. No icing. Not even close to one. Gerard right behind Georgiev. We have a stoppage here. We have a certain call for what it seems. We're getting a penalty against Josh Manson for interference.
Yeah, there was a good collision in behind the bench, Alec. I know the camera cut quickly, but I think that's what I saw too, and I'm sure that's what we heard. A little bit of a hold there for Manson on Stankoven. Kind of a cheapie, but you can't do it.
No, you can't. That puts Dallas on their first power play this game. It's a little slight tug. Would it be interference or holding? I think you lean more towards holding in this case, but either way, you can't do that.
No, I agree. That one at least is more clear. I'm still kind of wondering how Elias Pettersson the other day got a charging call when he didn't even charge.
I mean, it was all stationary. I guess the argument for the officials were that he just simply left his feet. And when someone leaves his feet, normally that would be a charging call, but he didn't even jump towards anyone. He did not have momentum. I don't know how that's charging, but I guess what they call is what they call. Here's Pavelski around for Johnson. Johnson's shot stopped by Georgiev. Stars keep his side off Robertson's stick. Here's Heiskanen back at the point. Pavelski setting up at the left circle. Back for Heiskanen. They go tic-tac-toe, playing catch. Heiskanen across over to Robertson to center for Ben. Ben back for Robertson. And back at the points, Heiskanen. Heiskanen back for Robertson one more time. Looking at the slot. Now at the right side, here's Ben's shot. Georgiev got that one away. And it's all the way back at the Avs logo for Robertson. The drop pass for Heiskanen. Heiskanen moves this one up for the far side. Fed over to Ben. Ben surveying. Around he goes at the top of the right circle. Skating casually around. Forced to the outside by Cogliano, his ex-teammate. Back for Heiskanen at the point. And around for Robertson one more time. Looking back. Heiskanen, left point this time. Robertson tic-tac-toe. The pass for Johnston broken up. And the Avs clear this one down. 55 on the man advantage. As fans cheering for this penalty kill. Heiskanen looks behind and will drop it back. And leading the way, this is Matt Duchene. Duchene will look left, now back around. For Harley and right around to the right side here. Stankoven rips one. Georgiev stopped it behind the net. Sagan has trouble with Walker. Gerard also dared, poked around, is kept alive by Stankoven. One-timer from the point. Georgiev, a glove save, is still alive. Duchene. Chris is crossed for Marshman back. Marshman's down low. Now back in the points, Harley. A ripper. This one wide the net. Harley trying to keep this in and does. It's over the left circle. Down low this goes. Matt Duchene wide open. Sagan. Georgiev shut the wall. Kiviranta trying to clear, can't. Harley holds it at the right point. 5 seconds on the man advantage. Loose stick onto the ice. Stankoven feeds it. Now back to him. That was blocked. Kiviranta gets it out. This might be a head pass, a signal. Josh Manson wide open. Breakaway. And they're going to signal it dead. Very clear on the hand pass by Joel Kiviranta just before Josh Manson had a breakaway.
That was absolute, Alec, survival mode for the Colorado Avalanche there. Jamie Benn, that was a great save near the top of the right crossbar for Georgiev, but I thought it was Jenga blocks in the middle of an earthquake, and I don't know how Dallas didn't score there.
Oh, man. Yeah, you wonder. And good look after good look. There's so many looks, especially Jamie Benn, Logan Stankoven, all those guys on the power play. You'd wonder how many looks they've had. There's the unofficial counter may be at around 5 on both power play units. That was perhaps the best power play that we've seen from Dallas thus far. Even though it may be their first one, if this holds up, that might be their best power play unless they score on a later one. Here's McKinnon dropping back with 6:30. Makar holding at his own zone. Around for Taves. Fox is serving. Far side pass. McKinnon sends this in. Auditor plays this one out over to Lindell. Lindell sees this go up and over. Makar failed to hold. Back inside this goes. Avs go for some changes. It's Lindell. Over to his partner Tanev. At the right side. Moving up now through center ice. Tanev escapes this one inside. He has Dadonov with him. Fires this one off of Georgiev as this one's kicked out. Avs trying to get this one up. Can't do so for the moment as Marchment brings it back inside for Sagan. And it's a toe drag shot! Georgiev shut that one down. Parise stood up his man towards the wall. Now as Dadonov cross-checked over to the far corner. We stay 5-on-5, however. Hayres, Rantanen, tied up by Suter and the drop pass over to Manson. Manson fires this one wide. 36-21 the hits in favor of Colorado at this point of the game. Johnston inside for Millstat. Can't hold the pass for the moment for a shot. Millstat tied up. That was Petrovic who stood him up. Dallas flings this one up in the air. Down at center ice. Sean Walker, the ex-Flyer, picks this one up. 5:20 to go here. In the second period, Mikko Rantanen's goal is the only one that stands here thus far. Stankoven at his own end. Tied up by Wood. Dallas has it. Ben stymied over the Avalanche bench. Colorado brings his one back for a split second. This one deflected up. Bouncing puck over the Avs end. Picked up by Walker. Chased after by Ben at the far side with 5 minutes as the cross-ice pass over to Wood. The setup pass on a cross over to Walker. Walker fights with around for the net. Held inside as a long shot gets blocked. Colton on the keep. Can't do so. And here's a foot race. Jamie Benn at the tail end of his shift. Fires this one off of Georgiev. Kept wide by Gerard. And over back this goes for Walker. Shots 13 all here at Ball Arena in Game 6. Deep pass over to Drowan as he spins around. 4:30 remains. Harley looking for the equalizer, starting up from his own zone. Heiskanen lead pass over to the Dallas end of the blue line. Directs back over to Heiskanen on a Kareem puck. Heiskanen back over to Duchesne left side. Matt Duchesne, the ex-Av, skating right by Drowan. Duchesne had this one poked away from him. McKinnon is back there. Moved up front past Pavelski and on for Taves. Second period chances 5-4 in favor of Dallas. The cross-ice pass intercepted by Tanev. Did a good job of reading the lane. One of the best defensive defensemen in the NHL. Even when he's at his mid-30s. Lead pass up front for Drowan. Drowan in the right circle. This one went off of Lindell. He's tied up. Drowan had it poked away by Sam Steele. The puck is still free. Moved around. Still at the near corner. Off for Robertson. Nearly intercepted Dallas up with this. Here's Sam Steele. Bouncing puck past Dohane. Tied up at the near corner. Steele away from Manson. On the keep. The bouncing puck loose in the swat. Bounced over to Georgiev. He hangs on. 3:26 remains here. Dallas continues to search for the tying goal.
That was great work there for Fox's line as we go to break. Sam Steele as well. 3:26 left to go in the second. Again, I have to punch this button. How the heck is it only 1-0?
It should be a lot more goals if you ask us.
Well, when all logical answers fail, just say voodoo magic.
Yeah, I guess.
You going on that?
Just why not?
Why not? Just
It's
roll
been
with
an
it.
excellent game, and I'm still Admittedly, as I'm watching this one and the excitement and everything else has been good, and I can't wait for the third as well, or maybe even more. Those baseball scores, when you brought that up, I'm going to be befuddled for the rest of the night, so thanks, Ian, for that, as it's still 13-0 Detroit over Arizona. 13 runs on 17 hits, but yet you get shut out twice by the Marlins. I don't understand it. Baseball.
Baseball is the sport of chaos.
I mean, well, you're telling me, I mean, as, you know, it's good fortunes for my team, the Royals, but it's more of a surprise. I mean, it's not even a surprise, it's just a surreal feeling. Let me explain why. The Royals just got their 27th win on the season in May. Last season, that came in July.
That says an awful lot, honestly. And when you say it that way, that means everything. Cole Raggins has had a pretty good year. Again, 7 scoreless, 7 strikeouts, 2 hits. That's pretty good for the young man.
Yeah, he has his ups and downs. The pitcher you should really look at is Seth Lugo. When I say
he's been unreal.
When he is a Cy Young candidate early in the season, and that's not hyperbole.
We're deep into the second here, Alec. Take it away.
I mean, that speaks to how much the Royals have spent over the offseason to invest in the pitching and to not only get Seth Lugo, but also Michael Wacha. Stars on side. Oh, Georgiev had that one turned away off of his pad, and another star gets leveled. With 3:10 remaining in the second, Manson sends it over to the near corner. Bouncing puck, Ranta had it chopped away from him. Pavelski can't get it out. Out inside by Middlestat. Pavelski whacks at it. Poked forward over to Robertson. Robertson across over to the open Duchesne. Duchesne sliding into the first line in the wake of the injury to Rope Hintz, who is out for a second straight game. Fired around. Here's Rantanen. Gets leveled by Harley. Now picking this one up is Gerard on the entry. Avalanche are back inside. The trailer is Rantanen. Rantanen fires, blocked in front. Rantanen gets it back. Dropping it back over to McKinnon. He can be dangerous with it. Far corner. And the pass just missed. Mishandled pass onto Rantanen. It goes all the way back. Makar now has it in his own zone. Dallas trying to get the tying goal. Stretch pass over to Lehkonen. Over to McKinnon. McKinnon spins around. Looking for the open man. Another missed pass went over the heads of everyone. Taves picks this back up. 2:15 to go in the second. Wyatt Johnston surveying the action. Instead now goes on for a change. Deep pass from Taves. And now moves up front. The stretch pass doesn't work. Tanev 6 aside Drowan. Up for Lehkonen. He gets tied up. Bouncing puck corralled down by Lindell. Benn now with it. Less than 2 minutes left. Benn moving up for the ice. Jamie Benn. This went up high. And it'll be glove down. Might have went off of someone or something. Play stops with 1:52.
I'm not sure what that hit, but that definitely got a stoppage in play. I'm just wondering, as we're getting close to the second intermission, when will we see Dallas press for the goal? Again, it's only 1-0. You would think maybe middle third, but this is honestly a low amount of shot totals, and if you would have said that between these two teams, we would have called you all liars.
I mean, it looks like a soccer match out there. Low scoring and not a lot of shots, as is the case on June 1st in the Champions League final when Dortmund and Real Madrid will face off against each other. Free Eastern, 8 p.m. GMT at Wembley Stadium. 1:30 to go here in the second. Dallas is down by 1. They trailed this game 1-0. They lead the series 3-2. At his own zone, Jack Johnson, wearing the number 3, like at the beginning of his career with the LA Kings. Here's Miles Wood back up with this, off for Johnson. Stretch pass for the middle of the ice. This bounces on its way through Ottinger, who will leave it over to the far corner. The Avs are 17-6 all-time when scoring first in potential elimination games. They will want to get another one of these wins here tonight. Last minute of the second period. Mikko Ranta has the only goal. He'll love to have his team capitalize on it with another goal here. Dallas back in. Sam Steele saying this one on for Georgiev. Sweeps is on his side. That might have been a risky decision, but it pays out as this is out to center. Harley aside. And up front this goes. Dallas is back in with Smith tied up by Middlestat falling down and keeping this in his steal. Middlestat forcing him over to the far corner. Bouncing puck cannot be settled down by Lindell. Essa Lindell will start it from his own end with 30. Move to the far side. And around on the back end inside for Robertson. Robertson behind the defense. He's now behind the net. Shoved by Middlestat. Robertson goes back over to the point where he sends it over to Lindell. And Dallas just can't get anything out of this. Rotten puck luck all throughout, but you could say it's excellent defense by Colorado in the closing stage of the second period. Advance further by Pavelski. And Colorado gets this one all the way out. There will not be a shot by the Stars here to end the second period. Mikko Rantanen's goal, the only one that stands. It's a power play goal, and the Avalanche are up 1-0, despite Dallas having the advantage in shots 15-13 after 40 minutes.
Those are all good points, Alec. I want to make sure. The reason why I interjected only for a moment, Thomas Harley slapshot of the puck around the inboards in frustration. Normally, we've seen the Colorado Avalanche be frustrated in this series. Very interesting going into this third period.
And do keep in mind, the last time we've seen these two teams, Colorado down 3-1, they won 2 straight, forcing a Game 7. That time they were banged up, all injured to all sorts of ends and back. Gabriel Landeskog missed Game 7, and both of Philip Grubauer and Pablo Francouz, they were out because of injuries. They had to start Michael Hutchinson in net, and they won because of a lights-out offense to all ends.
I want to look at this record. Go ahead, Ian.
Okay. Well, I actually want to talk about a different point. So, John, go ahead and make your point first before we switch.
I just wanted to look at the Avalanche records in Game 7s, and what I'm seeing right now is 6-10 that they say. But I think that this core group, alongside Nathan McKinnon, Kel McCarr, and Mikko Rantanen, are 0 for, correct? I think it's like 0 for 5 or something like that in their recents.
0 for 4 is McKinnon. 0 for 3 is this current core. When you take away that 2014 game, because back in 2014 it was just McKinnon. Ever since, it's been the big three of McKinnon, Rantanen, and McCarr.
That's the point I wanted to make. Thank you for clarifying that, Alec. Go ahead, Ian.
Am I hearing anything?
Oh
yeah, there we go.
Yeah, for some reason, the space keeps on screwing up. Is John saying anything?
No, I was silent right now. You can hear me. I've been able to hear you guys.
Can you hear him? This space is just all over the place, it seems.
But, Alec, you can hear me, though? We're good on this side, I think.
Yeah, we're good. The both of us are good here.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Alright, so he decided that he's going to reset because... Alright, let's try this again.
Reset. John.
Yes, I got you.
Okay, I got you. Alright, I got you both. Okay. So the point I wanted to make is actually the Game 6 that's going to happen tomorrow. I gotta be honest, fellas. When I picked the Canucks to beat the Oilers, and everyone thought that they didn't really think the Canucks could stand up to the Oilers offensive attack, but just like Aiden Hill last year, it appears that Arthur Seelov is trying to be the next underdog hero, even though the Canucks are not underdogs as a whole team, but as a goalie, come on.
I'm with you on Sheilov. She's been a great story.
For real. Yep. He has been. I mean, last year, he was promoted to being the backup to Thatcher Demko at the latter end of last season. He was okay for his standards. Perhaps the best backup goalie last season because Colin Delia and Spencer Martin were all over the place for Vancouver. Goaltending, took a massive hit after Demko went down to injury. This year it was stabilized with Demko and Casey DeSmith. And now with Shelov's in the mode after DeSmith went down to injury, he's filled in nicely.
Yeah, I don't know if Demko is going to be out the entire playoff, but if he were to come back, what do you do? I mean, I get it. Demko is goaltender 1, but with the way Shelov's has been going, do you do you interrupt that flow?
It's a tough question, Ian, and it's honestly a tough call, but I think Shelov's has done enough to where, let's say Demko, you're right, let's say he does come back by like game 2 or game 3 next round, assuming that it gets done for the Canucks. I think maybe you give Demko an extra game of recovery once he gets cleared, and then you might see what happens. My only concern for Shelov's is he might be tired from playing games every other day, when really this is his first true action in the NHL, correct, for the most part?
Yeah, this is first true action. And again, we said the same thing when the Penguins, they had to rely on Matt Murray in 2016. We were concerned about his rest. Yeah, I didn't blame them for starting Marc-Andre Fleury Game 5 against the Lightning. That made sense. Then you had to go back to Murray. He was the hot hand. And it was the right choice going back to Murray on the way to the Stanley Cup. The same case happened in 2017 when Murray was inserted in goal for Game 4 against Ottawa, coming back from injury. Yeah, I know Fleury did it a lot for Pittsburgh in 2017, backstopping the Penguins to back-to-back series victories in the first 2 rounds against the 2 best teams, arguably, in the entire NHL that you could say. But also, you speak of Murray and the impact he had for Pittsburgh in those years. You go to Murray for the rest of the playoffs, you can say the Penguins made the right call in relying on Murray.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Now, truth be told, Demko, okay, at the time they did that with Murray, is Demko the same age as Fleury at that year, at that time?
I don't believe he is. Demko's rather young, and he is one of the at the time he was one of the top up-and-coming prospects for Vancouver in net. There was debate on when he was going to come up, when they were going to get him onto the system.
Right, and they made the right call with Demko. Thankfully, they've got a team. They've got a team now, but it's it's just one of those questions that you have to. At the very least, Shelov's has proven that, hey, I'm no longer the third stringer. If
I agree.
If I have, if something happens again, I'm going in.
He's calling the shots.
No, I agree completely, and that's a good point. I think Casey DeSmith, if it's ever his point again, he can be ready. But I would have Shelov's there as the second gunner. And honestly, as we said with Demko, I wouldn't mind if you're going to the third round, giving him an extra day of rest and seeing what happens. Because I do go back to the initial point of thinking that maybe Shelov's might be exhausted from playing every other day. We'll see how that is. But I think Rick Tocchet, and I will say this in all honesty, I wasn't sure how it was going to go from last year because I thought that the Canucks always had a ton of talent. They just didn't produce all that well. Now this is kind of bearing fruit. That's good to see. And I think one of the best coach embodiments, if it's not for Paul Maurice on the Florida side, definitely in the West, it's Rick Tocchet and the Vancouver Canucks because they certainly play well with him.
Oh, yeah, because it's not like... I mean, when you look at that team and during last offseason, it's not like they rebuilt the team. These are the same guys from last year. They've just found a way to finally gel together. I mean, JT Miller has gone from full tilt diva to legitimately when they chant MVP for JT Miller, they have a point.
That was a smart re-signing, wasn't it? I think the point of tumultuousness they made is correct because there was some issues of that or whether or not he was going to be the guy. Hell, he scores the game winner yesterday and they're chanting his name.
Yep, and of course, the biggest thing going into next offseason was, were they, can they do enough to convince Elias Pettersson to stay? And as it turns, and they start winning, and he agrees to an extension mid-season.
Best case scenario for them, considering all things that happened. And it was kind of funny because, okay, one guy doesn't work out, Andrei Kuzmenko, he turns out to be a pretty good player. The Flames will benefit from that too. But then look at what Nikita Zadorov and Elias Lindholm are doing since that trade. It seemed like it worked out for everybody.
It sure did.
It's crazy how, and for the life of me, for most teams that have a turnaround or have a dramatic boost in production and are able to go far, you can look at a specific moment or a specific signing or trade where that made it all possible. For the Florida Panthers recently, it was the Matthew Tkachuk trade. It was boom or bust, and it has boomed for them. For the Vegas Golden Knights, it took a few years, and they really, they played that game, but the trade for Jack Eichel, the signing of Mark Stone, it eventually led to a cup. And if we want to take it back, a little bit further, I know this team is it now has a tainted mark on it, but when the Blackhawks signed Miriam Hossa, on the back end of his career, and that led to 3 cups, or there's so many examples. But with Vancouver this year, what has it been other than, John? I think you hit the nail. I think you hit the nail on the head. The only big change is that they brought in Rick Tocchet.
Yeah, he's kind of changed all that stuff around, and you love to see it. You talk about some of these other things, too, and I hate to say it this way, but sometimes it seems like these coaches are the old boys club, correct? Like, they keep recycling the same names. I think Rick Tocchet kind of came out of nowhere. Hell, do you want to be the coach of the Vancouver Canucks? Sure, why not? I'll go from a cushy analyst job in TNT, and then I'll jump in on this and completely change this team around. It's incredible.
It's for sure. The way that he has implemented the defensive structure all around. You improved this team from how it was under Bruce Boudreau. And while the big question was how Boudreau went out, because that was rather questionable on that part, I'm not mad at Rick Tocchet. I just felt like the way that Boudreau was sent out, he knew he was going to be fired. He knew his days were numbered. Yet everything still worked out for the Canucks. This team is basically the epitome of how in the world did this team get this good? They have the same guys, much of the same talent, but with crucial offseason signings and key acquisitions throughout the season, they vastly improved the team. You bring in Carson Soucy, Ian Cole, Noah Jolson comes in, Philip Hronek acquired at last year's deadline, Elias Lindholm, Nikita Zadorov through 2 separate trades with the Calgary Flames. Casey DeSmith as the backup to Thatcher Demko. All of them has made a huge impact for the Canucks in many ways, more than one. And with the recycling of the coaches, well, it's worked out for Vancouver. You could speak of another one that just happened today, which involves the Toronto Maple Leafs. Ian and I were discussing the possibility of Craig Berube becoming the head coach of the Maple Leafs. And now, as first reported by Elliot Friedman, that is a reality.
What's your immediate thoughts of that, Ian? I know you know Berube well with the Blues.
Well, okay. So, Steve Dangle actually put it a lot better. See, Berube, he is another coach that does really well in the regular season. When he came in and won the cup with St. Louis, that team had superstar power on it. You had Ryan O'Reilly. You had Vladimir Tarasenko. You had Alex Pietrangelo. You had, a spark in the goal. You had a spark in the goal in Jordan Binnington that was also a blessing. And with that team, they went and won the cup. Even though at the time Berube took over, they were dead last in the NHL.
Yep.
But after that, after the cup year, he only won one playoff series. Here's the facts. But here's the fact of that is that the Blues, it wasn't really all Berube's fault, because what everyone forgets is the Blues made some rather questionable decisions with their free agents signings. They paid way too much for guys like Justin Falk, Marco Scandella, who didn't live up to what they needed to be for what they got paid. And because of that, last season, they had to trade away all of their talent. They traded away Tarasenko, O'Reilly, Mikkola. They traded away Ivan Barbashev, who was a very, very good second and third linesman. And if I'm being honest here, John, the Leafs right now have more talent, more high-end talent than the Blues did in 2019. Berube knows how to win cups, or a cup. He did it once with St. Louis. I think he can do it with Toronto. The key is they need to play it smart. And I think this offseason, Mitch Marner is probably gone. Alec and I have debated this, and I've seen it around on Maple Leaf Twitter. Marner is probably getting traded. So with that, though, with Marner's money coming off the books, don't worry. What the Leafs need to do is not go big game hunting. You still have Matthews. You still have Riley. I think, as far as I know, I think they just signed Nylander to an extension. Yes. So that's there. And then, there's and you still have Tavares, who's older, but he can still provide a scoring touch. They need to shore up the depth because if they're high end, if their core four or what's likely going to be core three doesn't perform, we just saw what happens. They will fail, which means they need to do what Vegas has done, what Florida has done, and quite frankly, what the Blues did in 2019. They need to get adequate depth so they have 4 legitimate scoring lines. And with that, I can almost guarantee you Berube gets the Leafs to the conference finals. Stanley Cup finals, I don't know. But conference finals, you give him an all-around team, oh yeah. He's getting you to the conference finals.
We'll see if they can get to that point, because the second round, that was the thing that kind of got in the way, and that's what they want to do, and I don't disagree with your points. We are underway now in this third. This is sent back around the end boards. Again, I apologize for a barking dog. I had to open up the window here because it's getting quite warm. As this is sent down across the left side red line, and Cogliano off the spin and turn I'll go ahead and chip it off the glass at the halfway marker. I'll leave it to Alec Nava and have him close because I closed the last time we did the cast. And if we get to OT, we can split that as well. We'll lead off. As this is now on the left side, red line for Dallas. John Ott with you alongside Alec Nava and Ian Genji. This is Game 6. Not a lot of shots, but the shots that have hit the net, there have been some spectacular saves. And the lone power play for the Moose, Mikko Rantanen, has gotten the job done so far for the Avs, who must win to play another game on Sunday night. And if they do, that'll be my next portion of the schedule. I'm not sure if I can get for tomorrow's game for the Canucks and the Oilers, but we definitely will punch into Game 7. If that goes 7, I will be here on Monday for that series. As this goes in off the end boards now. Avs got it, Cale Makar. Long outstretched pass to Nathan McKinnon. It's kept in the high slot. It's Sam Girard who's racing him behind the net. Every single Av right now is coming and going in between the right side circle and back, forwards and defense. Slap pass, and again, that's good to see because Jared Bednar needs his whole team to activate if they're going to be able to win against a team like the Dallas Stars. Icing's waved off, and it's Josh Manson now. Try to take this right to left, this cerulean and maroon. Skate this one in the zone. Long shot, held by the 5-hole of Ottinger. He's got it.
I want to go back to what Ian said about the Maple Leafs when we were still in the intermission, in which I like his points, that they need to shore up the depth and get adequate scoring pieces. They need to roll out a complete 4-line team that can go all around scoring-wise. Kind of like what the Vegas Golden Knights were last year, and most of these teams remaining are this year. Like the New York Rangers or the Florida Panthers that we're seeing right now. That if Toronto does that, we can see them going to the conference final.
Hey, if I'm the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Hold up a second, Jamie Benn, tying goal.
Wow. Oh, sorry, Beth.
You're fine.
Sorry about that. I'm behind, but if I'm the Toronto Maple Leafs, first play, I don't know what their cap situation is, but after they trade Marner, I'm sure they'll free up a little bit of money. I make a play for Chandler Stevenson from the Vegas Golden Knights. Like, you stick him on the second or third line, like that right there, you've already increased your score. You've already improved your scoring depth.
That play that we just saw from Jamie Benn, that was almost like he scored on a breakaway, Alec.
Almost was. It was all low at the front of the net. And I apologize if this goal was being the goal call was being stolen from us if anyone was stepping on anyone's toes here. But 1-1, Dallas will take it any day of the week. With Dadonov setting up Ben right if I was flying down the ice, reminiscent of his 2015 form when he had the most points in the NHL. Tyler Seguin has the other assists. Ben and Seguin, like bread and butter back in the old days.
Absolutely. That's what Jim Nill got those guys locked into, and now he just keeps drafting diamonds. Now another one-on-one play, and this had to be sticked away out of midair. This will be sent down the ice, and this will be blown dead against the Avs. All of a sudden, we got a brand new hockey game.
Sure we do. 2:40 into the third. At the goal coming at the 156th mark of the third period. The Stars are not out of this. Neither are the Avs. Sent in from Seguin with Dadonov on his back. And I believe this was a no-look pass from Dadonov onto Ben, who just went forehand, backhand right around Georgiev, made him look foolish.
I want to say this for Evgeny Dadonov, and I say this in the right way. It almost seems like he's got a Super Saiyan type form. He might miss some easy ones, and then on the other end just make some absolutely spectacular plays. It's all or nothing sometimes for Evgeny Dadonov, but when he makes the plays, they work out pretty well.
Sure it does. When he makes the plays necessary, it's going to work out nicely.
Man, a couple rebounds out in front for Georgiev. He robbed Matt Duchene. And now all of a sudden, we're going to say this in the last 5 minutes of the second period, not all of the third, the Dallas Stars have awoken. And that is scary news for the Colorado Avalanche, as it's Chris Tanev. Outstretched pass is a knuckle puck, and this will go back into Colorado's end. How are they going to respond? The shot board now is even at 16. And when I tell you that, don't dismiss these goaltenders, even though the shot totals are low. They have been excellent. Jake Ottinger made a couple ridiculous saves, and Alex Georgiev on that last opportunity with traffic in front, that could have been a goal. This could easily be a 5-4 type game, but it's 1-1. As Mikko Rantanen gets cross-checked right in the back, they'll still play on, and that's going to draw the ire of the fans. I don't blame them on that one, as this is now put in behind the net. And the Victory Green Tops get a chance to go now from left to right. The captaincy, Jamie Benn, has just tied it. Mikko Rantanen one-on-one. He tried to go for the top right post. And now Devin Tays will get it back to the Moose. They're working behind. Good defense here for the Stars as Jamie Benn can start it now left to right. They'll be able to bing this off the glass right to Tyler Seguin. Here's the cross and a stick in the lane. Will deny an opportunity right out in front. Dallas could have taken the lead. But now this goes back to the NHL 24 cover athlete, Kel McCarr. They'll start it again with Devin Tays. Outstretched pass, find the entry, Arturi Lehkonen. Here's Duran. Turn and spin near the right side boards. Nathan McKinnon, long shot. This one blocked. McKinnon gets it back. McKinnon shoots. This one's blocked a couple times. The Avs try to file it at the net. Here's Lehkonen. Now McKinnon activates. Oh, what a pass and block in front of that by Robo. This goes to the right side, Dodd. Here are the Avs again. It's Gerard sends it across. What action that we've had. Stutter step, McKinnon. He shoots. This one blocked by Ottinger. My goodness. As Dallas flips it out. What are we seeing here?
You mentioned about survival here, pure survival. This is another one of those examples. We go back to the penalty kill. Dallas somehow won up that penalty kill with an absolute survival mentality at their own end with the Avs buzzing all over the ice. Magic happens when McKinnon's out there, and we've just seen this on all shapes and forms. Lehkonen, McKinnon, draw into the slot, and a well-timed block by Jason Robertson to take away what could have been a nice opportunity for Drouin to cash in on the go-ahead goal. We stay even, one-on-one. Both these teams each have 4 third-period scoring chances.
And this game has been insane. And that last pass behind the net from McKinnon was between the legs of Tanev. And then Robertson dives to make the shot block, which could have saved a goal. This one blocked out of the air. It's picked up by Pavelski, and Georgiev's going to get back in the stand-up near the right side post. This will exit to the neutral zone. Here are the Avs. It's McCarr. We'll send this one down deep. Casey Middlestat will try to give chase. He's been a good ad in that top 6. Again, they've been trying to replace Nazem Kadri for several years since winning the Cup. They're hoping that Casey Middlestat can continue to do that. As this is now on the left side red line, Cogliano, the fourth line for Jared Bednar, fires it in. This will be sent back around. Here for Colorado, they'll intercept to the right side, Cogliano. Try to go ahead and find it, but this will go back to the Dallas defense. Here is Dallas with the puck on the left side blue line. Cogliano again. He's had one heck of a shift as this goes across the Avs logo. Here's a chance steal. Long save for Georgiev. No problem there. Jack Johnson full speed. He finds the entry. Power move. He'll work his way behind the net. He gets canceled off. You're not going to be able to take him off the puck though with a hit. Bounces out in front of Duran. And the Avs like it in. It's Gerard now. Here's a pirouette. Gerard try to set it up in the high slot. What a move by McKinnon, as this is a wrister, and this goes out of play. I've said that about 5 times already, and I'm glad I did.
Jack Johnson driving the offense. You don't see this often, but that time he did. But Nathan McKinnon, what a sweet move after the pirouette by Sam Girard. He put the Stars defense on a blender. He spun them out so much. If only Colorado can capitalize on the opportunity, it would be even sweeter. But if this goes to a Game 7, you can bet Colorado is putting this on the highlight reel.
Yeah, you'd have to think so. We'll see if it goes. We're getting close to the point where I switch it back over to you. That was a gigantic goal for a Jamie Benn, assisted by Evgeny Dadonov. We will see if that's going to propel the Stars to finish this one off tonight at Ball Arena. But if it is, this Game 6 was a heck of a lot better than the Game 3 that we called, in which it was complete domination from the Dallas Stars. At least the Avalanche have shown you over the last couple they have a pulse.
I mean, in back-to-back games in which I've covered back-to-back great games between this one and Rangers Canes yesterday, even though it's a heartbreak on my part, I have to acknowledge that game could go down as a Ranger classic. One of the greatest individual efforts ever seen by a New York Ranger or someone wearing a Ranger sweater. Chris Kreider, natural hat trick again. Ian and I were there to call the third period. And if you're Carolina, it feels like you have a ton of decisions to do in the offseason. You have 15 free agents, 9 of which are UFAs. You have $31 million in cap space. Carolina's priorities are to give Gensel a long-term extension. They don't have Martin Necas at their disposal. They're not focusing on Martin Necas on their plans, which I feel it would be a big blow. But if they're prioritizing Seth Jarvis, I think it's one or the other between Necas or Jarvis, which means that Necas could all but likely be either traded or offer sheeted.
Necas could be one of those guys, Alec. Had a great year the other year, and maybe Don Waddell and company doesn't think that he can repeat it? Question mark there. If he fits into an offense, I think he's an offensive player, but he's certainly bought into Rod Brind'Amour schemes. Though Brind'Amour himself, we don't know if he's coming back. That would be something you and I need to have a discussion about, especially during like a free agency frenzy show when I usually do that with Cooper. Probably have you join in on that one because I am very interested to see. I think that's a great point. We know what Carolina's ceiling is. Is Rod Brind'Amour the guy to get them over the hump? I know that's crazy to say, but I know fans are probably a little bit frustrated because they've had a team that essentially went all in this year. 12:05 thereabouts left to go in the third. Middlestat will find the entry. Parise will try to drive the net. Middlestat's pass doesn't go anywhere. And now the Stars off a 2-on-2. The youngster Wyatt Johnston will get taken down on the ice, but picked up by Girard. I don't know how he got that pass through, as it's Mikko Rantanen. They'll turn. They don't gain the line. And now Johnston will try again. He'll take a short side chance. This one goes out of play with 11:42.
Right from near the same place we scored the Game 3 overtime winner against Vegas. Never a bad idea to find the smallest of angles right on a goaltender and try again to get a short side shot. That time it went off the mask of Georgiev out. That's a rare save.
It's head save, I guess, right off the top of the dome as they're showing Nathan MacKinnon. I mean, he's had his dancing shoes on all night. Number 29 has looked like the best player on the ice, but again, the Colorado Avalanche find themselves in a situation where they are neck and neck with Dallas. And Dallas, with their team depth, they just won't go away. And the Avalanche are going to need to win 2 games to finish it off. Pavelski, this is fired toward the net. And I'm going to get set in a moment to handle this back to Alec once we get a stoppage or even a spot where they get a little bit of a break. There's a double team. And that was a good one. And behind the right side board, still working off the body contact after absorbing the hit, was Matt Duchene. He's still working with this, even he got pasted. And now Marchment, Duchene, Ross Colton trying to join in on the fun. It's very loose. Duchene makes a pass instead. Why didn't he shoot that puck? As this goes back now. 10:55 left to go in the third. Here's a reverse hit. Marchment stays on his feet. They'll funnel it into Georgiev. This will be sent back toward the right side red line. Touch pass. Nathan MacKinnon out there again as this is off the drop. It's Girard. Good save. Ottinger with the left arm. This will be to the right side red line. Here's a touch. Girard. Slapper. This one goes off the end boards. Picked up by Dallas. They'll try to get this off the glass. MacKinnon steals. Plays it in between his legs to Duran. Duran trying to stick handle out of the air. He'll get it now to the right side. MacKinnon gets it back to D. McCarr. Holds it in. Back to number 29. He's held against the boards. You take it away, Alec.
Here we go. Halfway in this third period. The clock is showing 10:10. Alec Nava, John Ott, Ian Ganji here. Game 6. Dallas leads 3 games to 2 in games in this series. Colorado and Dallas are tied 1-1. Mako Rantanen and Jamie Benn, they have the goals for Colorado and Dallas, respectively. It's Haskin in his own zone. Clock showing 9:52. If we don't get an icing here, the next whistle will get us to our second TV timeout of this period. Should we have overtime here? Oh, look out! It's loose in front. Rantanen turned away by Ottinger on a dangerous misplay behind the net by the Dallas Stars. 9:42 remains, and we get our stoppage.
We do get our stoppage, Alec, and I said it just before with Matt Duchene. I didn't think he needed to make the extra pass. We get the misplay there for Ottinger, and I think the Avs might have taken maybe an extra beat too long, and it gave Ottinger the time he needed to just recover off a Rantanen chance as we go to break.
That's what it looked like there. The dangerous giveaway by Thomas Harley right behind the net. You don't want that to happen. Otherwise, if Steve Dangle was still on Sportsnet, he'd be adding this to Steve's Dangits.
Yes, he would. This is a good contest. It's 1-1. If I have to ask you, gentlemen, now, let's do it during the break. Give me one for each team. Who scores the game winner?
Stars. I'll go with the old man. I think it's Joe Pavelski.
Who do you got for the Avs, Ian?
You know what? Icing on the cake. Jack Johnson.
You don't see that often, but go bold or go home.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, I'll have my picks here right now. So for Dallas, I too, like you, am going bold. Sam Steele for the game winner. As for Colorado, how about Casey Middlestat?
Give me, I want to say Wyatt Johnston, but I won't do that. Let me go Tyler Seguin, and he's been a hero over the last several playoff years when they needed goals. Arturi Lehkonen.
Oh, he's been Mr. Overtime between Colorado and Montreal when they need a clutch goal from him. And he's known for game winners when it matters most. So I don't blame you for the Lehkonen pick, John. I can see that as a valid one. And a nice one indeed.
Let's see what we get. We should have an exciting third in front of us.
All right, we're not exactly seeing the checkered flag up. The green flag is still out. And speaking of which, NASCAR is at Wilkesboro for the All-Star race. Fired in by Makar. First defensive pairing is out there for Colorado. Chris Tanev now behind Jake Ottinger's crease. Rolls over to the far boards where it's picked up by Seguin, who John has picked for the game winner for Dallas. Will this materialize? Tanev fires one. Seguin picks it up behind the net. Tries to center one up in front. Here's Dadonov with a wraparound. Turned away by Georgiev. He has it again at the near corner. The pass can't reach Ben. Colorado looks to get this one out and does. All the way back is Miro Heiskanen, who will receive this one from Ottinger. Heiskanen will start the offense with 8:45. Driving down for the far side of the boards. Fired around. Johnston there. He gets tied up by Parise. This allows Colorado to pick this one up. Held in by Colorado at the defensive end. And they'll send this one down. Bouncing puck around down center by Parise. He'll leave for Manson. Manson fires around the far boards. Ottinger slows it down over to the far corner. Played in traffic though. Held in by Rantanen. Rantanen behind that. Here's Parise. Tight shot. This hit the outside of the cage. Heiskanen will pick this one up once more. And will fling this one on his backhand to center. Avs stick this one away. Lands back on Harley's stick. Sent inside by Dallas. Scooped back up by Manson. And sent down the distance of the ice. Wars Rantanen spun around by Harley. Harley will have this one back. Harley leading the way of 8 minutes remaining. Poke loose. Avs have it back. And it's Miles Wood, the game one overtime hero, to the right side. And Sean Walker. Oh! Radek Fox was right in his face. And a shot was fanned on by Kiviranta. Here's Wood behind the net. As he have some more magic in here. Deep shot. Ottinger down. The puck's still free. Ottinger bullied. Somehow covers it up with all sorts of players all over him. Miles Wood, Thomas Harley, right there on the scene. Is everyone okay? Ottinger's back up. Wood gets back up.
I think you can also ask us that same question here in the broadcast booth, Alec. What a dangerous set of circumstances for a bouncing puck. And I can tell you this, gentlemen, there is no question that both of these teams want this thing. When you see that car crash in front of the net, and again, Dodonov almost scores.
That's the second time we've almost seen him score when he hit the outside the post in the first period.
What a massive collision that was with Foxa and Walker.
Oh, that almost was disastrous for Walker. See, he was so close, dangerously close to the glass on that hit. If it got even more worse, then that could have been Zdeno Chara on Max Pacioretty in that one game. But it's not there because Foxa on the height, not even close to Chara's height at 6'9", even though Chara is retired from playing ice hockey. Here's Pavelski inside with 7:23. Over at the near boards, he's tied up, taken away by Nate Dogg. And Dallas will recollect at center ice, sent inside. Stars trying to end his series tonight. Avalanche want to send this to Game 7 at American Airlines Center. Pavelski inside, here's Duchesne. Duchesne toe drags Georgiev with the stop. And will be recollected by Miles Wood, sent up to Mills. That was 7 minutes to go. Here's Andre out of his crease. The plate is on his backhand for Tanev, the ex-Flame and the ex-Canuck. Off the glass over to center ice. Sent in by the Stars. Georgiev will slow it down over to Manson. Manson almost played this one into traffic. It's out to center. Avalanche look to move this one up. Here's Middlestat again. JT Compher was the last player in Colorado to wear the 37. He's now a Red Wing. Middlestat on the hold. He was acquired for the Sabres at the deadline. Dallas gets it out. Manson shoved that one away. Sent it from behind the red line. The icing is going to be waved off. Colorado can't clear. It's Dallas on the hold, saying it's back down low. 6:20 to play. Who gets the go-ahead goal? Here's Hasky at the right point. This one skipped over a stick. Recollects it and backhands it on around to the bottom of the left circle. Or the right circle, I meant. Cut away. Gerard airs this one out. It's up in the air. It will fall back down to the ice. And both teams trying to locate this puck. It's back behind the net. Avalanche are rushed with 6 minutes remaining here in regulation. Kiviranta at the near boards. Kiviranta around over to Colton. Has this one poked away. Robertson trying to clear. Kiviranta on their faces. Kiviranta backhands it over to Taves. And here's Makar. Makar's deep shot. Loose in front. Kiviranta can't back and this one home. Makar on the hole. Bouncing puck around down by Colton. Could not be advanced any further though. Here's Logan Stankoven. Coast to coast. For the near side. Around for the right circle. Shoved towards the wall by Taves. But helping him out is Johnston who gets tied up. Past Stankoven. And recollected by Walker. Sean Walker with 5:23. Stick lift there. And sent down to the Dallas end. Icing the call. Chris Tan at the first there.
Well, the shots are dead even now, and I'm trying to follow what happened in this play-by-play because I know Eddie Olczyk was talking about it, and Alec mentioned it during our call with us, that this puck just bounced up in the air, and really nobody knew where the heck it was.
Oh, that was an awkward sequence. I believe one time the puck hit the Jumbotron on one of the previous occasions, so they had to whistle that dead. You don't see that often.
No, it was just a flyby. It looked like a UFO that fell back behind me.
Unless you're don't see it often unless you're watching Dallas Cowboy games.
Oh, oh, you had to go there, Ian. You just had to go there.
Oh, I did.
Oh, yeah. Just that one punt. And we get stopped with 5:05. Yeah, that one punt when the Cowboys faced the 49ers in the first of 2 go-arounds. We have a stoppage. Not sure what this call is. We'll get clarification when we get back.
Was there? You said there was a punt that hit the Jumbotron?
Yeah, there was a puck that hit the Jumbotron earlier in this game.
Well, no, the football reference. What was the football reference?
So here's what. So the Dallas Cowboys completely rebuilt their. They had they built a brand new stadium years ago now, and one thing that it included was this big scoreboard, this big jumbotron for their scoreboard.
Sure.
In the middle of it's right above midfield, or yeah, it's right above midfield. The thing is, there was thing is their punter had a powerful enough leg that, or if you have a decent leg, your punt might bounce off the bottom of the scoreboard and you have to re-kick it. And I believe that happened during a game against the 49ers in the playoffs.
It did.
It's just yeah, it's just a dig at the Cowboys because it's so easy to do. It's so easy to do, especially after what happened this last postseason.
Oh my god, the last 3 years.
Oh my god.
You wonder, because I'm gonna let Alec get into this. You got the Rangers, you got the Stars, and you got the Mavericks. But how many of those don't care about that because they want to see the Cowboys win? That's my question.
Oh my god, you'd wonder, but the Dallas market is in good hands nonetheless.
Well, see, here's the thing though. I don't have a problem with any of the other fan bases in Dallas. It's just the Cowboys because they talk so much, but have done nothing for nearly 30 years.
To back it up. And as we get an icing here, it's just too much talk, not bite.
So it's a good time for you, Alec, to jump back into it. I'm going to reserve my judgment because I know some friends from the Dallas side, if I say anything, that's immediately, they'll start barking when there is no bite. So I know you guys' point. It's well taken on my end.
Oh, I mean, if anyone knows about the Stephen A. Smith videos after every Cowboys loss, or the reactions by Shannon Sharp.
Go ahead and take it now before it goes off the rails.
Oh my god. I mean, we're just asking for trouble at this point, are we, from Cowboys fans, aren't we? We have a face-off now afterwards. As Sagan winning it. Heiskanen, there's a deep shot. Blocked in front. Millstat trying to clear. It bounces up. And it's out. Colorado can get their changes now. Sagan almost catches him off. Now he does. The pass for Dadonov almost there. Ben holds it in. Around it in far boards. Georgiev thought about playing it. Sagan jumps on it. But instead, this will go right over to Miles Wood, who had an overtime winner in Game 1. We'll see if this game goes to overtime. But both teams, they're hungry for this game. Who knows how long this will have to take. But both teams, they want to get off as soon as possible. Don't want to risk any 4 overtime marathons like there was last year between the Hurricanes and the Panthers in Game 1 of that Eastern Conference Final. Here's a deep shot that was blocked in front by Makar. Stankoven picks it up for the right circle. Sticked away by Lehkonen. Lehkonen twisted and turned. It's Tanev on the hold. Grossi's pass over to Lindell, who holds this one through. And it goes over to Georgiev's right, swept away, and over to Drouin. Can't clear as this was just held in by Dallas. Stankoven, tight shot, bouncing over. And right behind the net this goes. Lindell kept it inside as this wide the net. Almost made his way inside as well. And this one's all the way out. Recollecting his wide Johnston. Johnson had poked away. Here's Lehkonen taking it himself. Waits for reinforcement with the far side. Fires this one up. Rebound in front. Swept away. And Rantanen on the hold. This one takes a bounce off a leg. Another shot blocked off. And Dallas will pick it up with 3 minutes remaining here in regulation. Driven towards the far wall is Marchment. Avalanche pick it back up. Casey Millstat walks it back in. Around the boards, he fires it over to the far side intentionally. Parise on the hold. Bouncing over Millstat's stick. 2:48 to go. Dallas will get this one down. They can't pick it up now, Duchesne does. He waits. It was sent across. Here's Marchment who fires it. This one off Gerard and now a play of 2:40. What chaos we're having here.
Absolutely. And if you're Matt Duchesne, that's an excellent job to hit Marchment. After you pass that between your legs, you're just waiting for reinforcements. And you got a good shot against Georgiev that went on to play. My goodness.
We're seeing everything unfold. A beautiful game it is. If necessary, Game 7 will be at Dallas on Sunday. Start time is at 7 Eastern. Tomorrow, the start time is at 8. It's start time, I believe, for what we're seeing at the NHL schedule, as I have to look at it rather quickly. Don't know about it. I don't see it now. But tomorrow, we do have Canucks and Oilers, Game 6. Heiskanen off the face-off. Over the left side is Thomas Harley. Deep shot goes around. And this will roll right back over to the near corner. Tied up is Marchman, who tries to stick it away from all the Colorado players. Can't do so. And it'll be picked up by Colton, who just gets it out. And all the way back at center ice is Suter at the Avs logo. Back for Heiskanen, rolled over Suter's stick. Kiviranta picks it up. Here's the former star. Right across, the pass went off a leg. 2:10 to go. Here's Duchesne, coast to coast. They're onside as Smith got one leg. A quick shot was blocked in front. Here's Kiviranta 2 minutes ago. And by the way, start time of Canucks Oilers tomorrow is 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain. 7:06 near the penalty box doors. Sent inside by McKinnon. Will he have some magic? He made Chris Tanev look silly several times. Good hold by Makar, but it was sticked away by Dallas. And they'll get this one down, but not before there was a Colorado stick. Foxa got tied up. Steele will help him out. Boyer just went over to the near corner. First there was Gerard. Away from Steele. Rushing in is Ben. They tried to clear, can't do so. 1:28 to go. And a deep shot got to Georgiev, and the rebound was picked up by Lehkonen. What will the Avs do here in the final 1:22 of regulation? Makar looking. Still looking. Dadonov on his face. At center ice. Seguin shoved his man towards the wall. And Dallas will move this one up. Here's Ben. He's got the tying goal. They go for the winner here in regulation. Back at the right point is Heiskanen. Back for Ben. Ben tried to send it back over to Heiskanen. Thinks twice. It'll backhand around. Last minute of regulation. Dadonov on the front. McKinnon tied him up. It's loose at the far side. Poked loose by Seguin. Swept over to Rantanen, who gets this one all the way out. Mako Rantanen had it poked loose over near the Dallas bench. Stars trying to get this one up. Heart rate's rising here at Ball Arena. And at the near side is Millstat sent in deep. Rantanen can't control it. And Dallas looks to get this one up. The puck still loose over the sin bin boards. And here's White Johnston emerging. Johnston had it pried free. And is still loose over the right circle. Robertson lost an edge. It's around down low for Manson, who got tied up. Mako Rantanen, 22 seconds. If we don't have a goal here, this one's going to overtime. Tanev from his own left circle. 15 seconds to go. Dallas going for the win here. This bounces on to Georgiev. He'll cover it up, forcing a face-off. 11 seconds and 2 ticks left in regulation.
Dallas is starting to find some things again, Alec, as you talked about sometimes in the second, about 4 or 5 minutes in the third. Now at the end of this third, elongated puck possessions, tiring out the Avalanche. Jamie Benn, Wyatt Johnston, trying to make life difficult and hold on to that puck. And it's gut check time. Make sure you stop anything with 11 seconds so you can get to OT.
Some line changes here at the moment. Josh Manson's exiting out. 5-on-5 here. No need to pull the goaltender here. Don't need to be too risky. Tie up off the draw. Pavelski loses it. Here's Makar. Avalanche looking for a quick counterattack here to get the last shot off. They'll just shoot this one down. Heiskanen picks this one up. How about some playoff OT?
That is what we're going to get. I'm looking through my notes right now just to see and double checking that this is the first time in this series that we're going to OT, gentlemen. This is going to be fun.
Well, to correct you, first time at Ball Arena that we're going to playoff OT in this series. We had a playoff overtime in Game 1 of this series. That was the Avalanche winning 4-3 to come back from down 3 goals to win 4-3 with Miles Wood on a breakaway.
Thank you for the correction. I'll make sure I throw that in my notes as far as we get to that, because we might even need a Game 7. But, yeah, it looks like the only goal for the Colorado Avalanche still sits at 5:48 for Mikko Rantanen, is number 4 on the power play. And that was a direct result from the Matt Duchesne cross-check. Josh Manson doesn't have to pay for his. But Jamie Benn, the only goal of the third period, 156 against Dadonov and Tyler Seguin. Honestly, I know I picked Tyler Seguin, but getting Dadonov made me have my heart in my throat about 4 or 5 times. I could have picked him to win it.
I mean, he's due for one eventually. I mean, there's another time when I picked someone who was due for a goal eventually in the game. That was Game 5 last year between Carolina and New Jersey, in which I picked Jesper Foss. He had the overtime winner off a deflection off his chest from Jesperi Kotkaniemi's shot.
I want to ask you this because I'm looking at the goal totals here. So Jake Ottinger 20 and 21, Alex Georgiev 22 out of 23. I know it only matters in a win, but I just want to ask you this point blank: is this Georgiev's best game of the series?
We can say in a way it is. We can pinpoint about Game 5 up to this point. It was, but now Game 6 with him stopping 22 of 23. This is his best game of the series. He's rebounded into form with a .957 save percentage and is making the saves that he needs to have. Going back to last year's form. That's what Colorado needed to see when he had the season of his life. This year's numbers were rather down, and I know the Avs would love it if he were to bounce back onto last year's form, and this game, he has.
I agree. I'm throwing it out there, and again, you talked about it on ESPN tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cover that one. The Canucks and the Oilers, if we do get to any Game 7s, I will be around for Sunday and Monday. Game 7, should we need it Sunday, that'll be an American Airlines, Avalanche and the Stars, and then Game 7 Monday between the Oilers and Canucks, if the Oilers can force it. Here's the thing for me. I threw this question out in the solo broadcast yesterday. I know you guys were bouncing around in there too, so we always can't cover a ton of games because I had a lot of other plans this week. But Calvin Pickard, I think, has played pretty well in this series. Do you think it's Calvin Pickard's net for the rest of the series against the Canucks?
Yes, I think it is his net because he has gotten the Oilers back into the series with his goaltending. And I feel, for some strange reason, it feels like there's a backup goaltender who seems to outperform Stuart Skinner left and right. I know Skinner is good in the regular season, but for some strange reason, it just all falls apart for him in the playoffs. That's not a shade towards him or anything, but Pickard, he stepped up in ways imaginable to be an unsung hero. I know goaltending has been all over the place for the Oilers on the season, but what a year it's been for Pickard to go from being in Bakersfield with the Condors to get his number called when Jack Campbell completely fell face first onto the ice, all the way down to Bakersfield, and a rough season for him. And now Pickard's entrusted with his net. I think Pickard has earned this net now.
So I agree with you on that. My follow-up question would be this. Assuming the Oilers, let's say they do get past the Canucks, and they get to the Western Conference Finals, is Calvin Pickard and Stuart Skinner a good enough goaltending tandem to win a Stanley Cup?
I don't think so. I mean, you have good goaltending tandems, then you have some of the best. You win Stanley Cups because of great goaltending. I know people can point about the asterisks of the 2022 Colorado Avalanche, how that was more of the team in front of Darcy Kemper, but Pavel Francouz did steal games for Colorado. Yes. When it looked like the goaltending was in flux in the wake of Kemper's injury. No shade towards Kemper, but Francouz, he was as effective as Kemper was from time to time, left and right. Kemper was all over the place as well, but he did steal games for Colorado. Just remember about how much he was tested some times throughout. But Game 2, that was the only game in that first round series against Nashville, which Connor Ingram tried to steal. It was Colorado, all things else. But goaltending has been all over the place for Colorado. And Edmonton, it's been all over the place. I think that the opponent if I'm the Oilers, the opponent that terrifies me is Dallas.
I don't disagree with any of your points. I'll let Ian jump in a moment. The only thing I question, and you guys already know this for me because of the Ken Holland cynicism from him living in the Red Wings and doing that. I'm not really a fan of the Oilers, but I've seen over the last few years what this team is. I feel like the Western Conference Finals is always their ceiling. Yes, they did get the emergence of Evan Bouchard. The trade for Matthias Ekholm was still pretty good, but the rest of the defensive core, to me, not enough. And now the goaltending tandem again, whether you go from Mike Smith back in the day, not that long ago, or to Mikko Koskinen or whatever you want to talk about, to now when you have Calvin Pickard and Stuart Skinner, I still have those same reservations. I know there are a lot of diehard Oilers fans that are hungry and they want to see more, but I just don't think the team is good enough to do it.
No, it feels they're too top heavy. They lean towards their big name players: McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Bouchard, Nugent Hopkins, and then you have the depth that's all over the place. I get Evander Kane. I get Matthias Ekholm, who's arguably the number one defender on the Oilers on his two-way impact. Bouchard's an offensive dynamo that can't be questioned. Nurse is all over the place. The rest of the depth may be all over the place as well. You have goaltending tandems of Mike Smith and Mikko Koskinen, and you follow up Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard. I'm not sure if you can win a Stanley Cup with those goaltending tandems and with questionable depth. You don't get away with that in hockey. You can get away with that in basketball, but in hockey, it's a team game, much like baseball.
See, and this is why, no matter, when it was announced that the matchup would be the Oilers and the Canucks, I stuck by the Canucks for if nothing else. Number one, the Oilers they still seem too top heavy. Sure, they have three people out there that can score now, but again, it's always been this way with the Oilers. After McDavid, Draisaitl, now Hyman, and Nugent Hopkins, who steps up? Who takes the helm when those guys are not performing well? I know I keep going back to this team, but they're the most recent example. When Vegas won their cup, if Riley Smith and Marchessault and all of those guys weren't doing so hot, it was Chandler Stevenson. It was a Zach Whitecloud. I mean, when Jack Eichel was having his slump, you have all this depth. It felt like I could name every player on that roster because everyone did so. I mean, yeah. Michael Amadio,
Yeah.
Who, what? But with the Oilers, you name the four guys. You can name the starting goaltender. But who's after? Who's next?
I feel like those are the questions that we've had to ask ourselves over the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years. And that's the frustrating part to me, if I was an Oilers fan, that I don't think Ken Holland's done enough to address that depth. I still feel like, for the most part, you're trudging out that same team over and over and over. And it's almost at the point where we made that conversation about the Cowboys and laughed, where it kind of feels like the Oilers are like that. I know Gretzky and stuff back in the day. I get that with Mark Messier. They've won things tangible. I understand that. But over the last stretch of years, it seems like Oilers fans keep thinking, well, this is going to be our year. And all the Canadian sides of the broadcasters always pick the Oilers. Hell, you want to know the only reason why I picked the Oilers this year? Because I always take the Kings in the first round. But the only reason why I took them to go to the Western Conference Finals this year was because you're saying, okay, you got Ekholm and you got Bouchard. Bouchard's been ridiculous, but that's it. You try to add enough just to get there. But I'll never pick them to win a Stanley Cup. I can't do it.
And I agree with you. It's just, it's not enough when you have a super top-heavy team all around, and the top six, the top two defensive pair, and everything else is all over the place. It feels like the Maple Leafs of the Western Conference in a way. You have all this top-end talent, and everything else is all over the place.
It's just, once again, I'm left with depth. The Oilers, in my opinion, and it's actually what their greatest strength is in the regular season is ultimately what leads them to be. It's ultimately what leads to their downfall in the playoffs. They have so much elite talent that I guess they don't believe in shoring up the depth. They are the Toronto Maple Leafs of the Western Conference. And I just don't... it's an endless cycle because we say this every year.
Yeah.
But the point still stands. It's almost like, as crazy as it sounds, they will not win a cup until the McDavid and Draisaitl era is done. They have to start over. And truth be told, you could say there's an argument to be made that this all started during the Chiarelli era when he locked up McDavid and Draisaitl. Yes, both of those contracts have proven to be great signings, but it's also handcuffed them.
I mean, I could think about it too, because I know we're going to be getting into the overtime, and I know you can't always hit on everything, because you got Taylor Hall, you got McDavid, you got Draisaitl, but then you draft, Jesse Puljujärvi or Neil Yakupov. There's so many other guys that they completely missed on when it seemed like there was a stretch of, 6 years where they had like a top 5 pick guaranteed?
Feels that way, and not anymore. And as for Puljujärvi, we'd be starting to wonder if he's a one-year wonder now.
Right. It's a shame sometimes it doesn't work out, but that's the way that it is. And I think Ian's points are well taken, so are Alex, as you mentioned it. I don't want to be disingenuous to any Oilers fans, but I will say this is probably a blood rival for the Canucks. Honestly, I'm rooting for the Canucks because they're fun to watch.
They truly are a fun-to-watch team. They excite me as a team as well. Ian and I have been talking about it over in one of our group chats with Rich, Big Rich, and all how that's it. So Big Rich said that he's liking this Canucks team at this point. The teams he has an affinity with: the Nucks, Sharks, Wild, and Habs. The Sharks because the intrigue of the long-term future that they have. Well, for Vancouver's case, about their turnaround that they've had, not only with the coach, but also with the way that they've kept the guys around and meshing with the new additions. It's chemistry that matters most.
It is. You got to be able to do that. And like Ian said, I know we're going to be getting an OT here, but JT Miller, at a crossroads. Hey, we're going to link you in, and then also, JT, you're going to be one of the best two-way players and kind of embody that team. Buy into the system, have chemistry, as you said, Alec. It seemed to work out well, and I feel like they're going to be the team that's going to advance. Maybe the Oilers take it 7, but I do think we're going to see the Canucks. Question is, are we going to see the Avs or the Stars? We're going to OT.
Yeah, as we see, Nathan MacKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, and Arturi Lehkonen each have 2 overtime goals. The leader among overtime goals in the playoffs on these lists, Joe Pavelski with 4, with one of them coming just last year.
You take it away, Alec. You take the first 10.
Yeah, should it go to the next 10 minutes, I'll hand it back over to you. Playoff overtime. 2 of the best words in ice hockey. We're tied 1-1. Mikko Rantanen opened the scoring. Jamie Benn tied up in the third period in the opening 2 minutes. And that's where we are now. Rantanen from Drouin and Makar. Ben from Dadonov and Sagan. At center ice is a battle for this loose puck. Dallas gets to it. Try to end this series tonight here in overtime. 30 seconds gone. And here's Taves through the far side. Avs trying to force a Game 7. Last time they've been in a playoff overtime in Game 6 while facing elimination, 2019 when they faced the San Jose Sharks. It was Gabriel Landeskog who sent away to San Jose. And inside comes Dallas. Several pokes at it. They're 11-9 in potential series clinching overtime games all time. 5-3 in overtime games to force a game 7. Here's a howitzer from Manson. That rang the outside the post. And the Stars clear this one all the way down. Manson's the first there back. And he'll pick it up. Right behind Georgiev and setting things up in front. Manson to center ice. To the right side, flung around for the near boards. Andre played it behind. Miles Wood rushing in. He has an overtime winner here. That was game 1 of this series. And one of the Stars got tripped up. Don't know if this is going to result in a penalty. Several swipes at it. This is McKinnon whacking this forward. We will not get a penalty. Back deep is Wood. Around this goes back for McKinnon. Still out there on the ice. He's being double shifted. This pass outside the zone for Walker. Everyone's forced to exit. And the Stars will pick this one up. Here's Heiskanen on his backhand around Colton. And we'll send this down behind Georgiev. Walker will send this one around. Kept alive by Jason Robertson to the front of the net. That one did not make it all the way through. And the Stars keep this in. Here's Wyatt Johnson tied up by Walker. Poke loose. Here is Colton. Ross Colton will send it forward over in front for Duhaime. Fourth line out there for Colorado. Duhaime beat out by Tanev. Several whacks at it. Foxa ties up his man. A shove towards the wall. Makar on the hold. Kale Makar around Craig Smith. To the front of the net. Makar on it backhand. Couldn't fire this one off. And this will go all the way back to center ice. Here is Johnson. Moved up for the near side. Fired around by Wagner. Ottinger places one out over to Lindell. Deflected front. Smith clears it out. And waiting at center ice. Backpedaling. Here's Sam Steele. Steele shoved hard towards the wall. And a ride towards the wall. Poke loose. And is stripped free. All the way down to center ice. Soder across. Heiskanen will restart. Millstar reaching there. Ascend in. It'll go over to the near corner. Pavelski there. Madsen swept away from us, held in by Duchesne. Out of first. Marchment tried to end it. Pavelski on the backhand. Georgiev shut it down. The rebound still free. It's at the near corner. Marchment had a whack at it. Going to the opposite wall. A hold by Heiskanen as down goes Rantanen. Pavelski on the keep. Here's Ryan Suter. Suter around for the boards. Hit the cage. Duchesne on the keep. The ex-Colorado man. Duchesne twisted and turn. Shakes off his man Makar. Rushing there is Johnson. Marchment keeps it alive over to Pavelski. Twisted and turned on the shot attempt. Manson lost it. Here's a deflection in front from Marchment. Georgiev shut it down as well. We're 3:30 removed here in the first sudden death overtime period. Tied at 1 apiece. Rantanen and Benda goes. Over at the near boards. This gets cleared out by Colorado. Pressuring offense by the Dallas Stars here in this overtime frame. They've been all over the Colorado end. Dadonov around for the far side. Heiskanen on the hold and back this goes. Through the point, here's Harley. Long shot bouncing in front. The rebound loose. Georgiev swept away from Sagan. At the far side, Rantanen got stacked. Held inside by Sagan. Long drive. Georgiev the save. It's loose in front. And right behind this goes. Back in the place, Harley. Get the side, here's Ben. Back for Harley. A shot blocked by Parise. Back in the left point again. Harley. This pass across and go all the way there. Now it does over to Ben. Heiskanen. Back for Harley one more time. Evgeny Dadonov centers one on. This did not go. Here's Tyler Sagan picking this one up. Back in the right point. Heiskanen. Twisting and turning around. Jamie Benn. Far corner. And this one going all the way out. Colorado can finally make changes after it looked like they were forced back to their own end for so long. An eternity. Heiskanen. Kent center. We were saying something about Dallas being all over the Colorado end as we get Makar recollecting this one back in its own zone. But what zone pressure was this? Wow!
Yeah, I couldn't believe that Colorado didn't concede their outlet. It looked like there was about to be a goal about 3 separate minutes here. Dallas has been all over them to start this OT.
And they have the puck again at their own zone. Lindell up front for Robertson. Trying to go for the win here in overtime. Can't do it now. Here's Taves, who's tied up, gets the clear. And Lindell will recollect. We'll send this one up and around. It will go over to the far side where it's picked up. And across this goes for Taves with Sam Steele watching. He's my overtime hero pick. Taves will hold. Past the 5:30 mark of overtime. This is the first OT period. Across for Makar and back. Taves will look again. Looks Makar's direction. Instead sends this up for Kiviranta. Had it stripped loose and back deep is Petrovic. Alex Petrovic On a rare shift on this ice, will be picked up by Colorado, bouncing puck recollected by the Avs, spun around on the backhand over to Ottinger. Ottinger plays it out over to Petrovic. Petrovic had it turned loose by Cogliano and is recollected by Sean Walker over the near boards. Flung on deep and around for the near boards. Chris Wagner on the hold. Cogliano tied up and back to the point this goes. Here's Walker, a drive for the right point. Ottinger will just hold on to it. 13:46 left in overtime.
I was going to ask you, Alec, do you think the Avs even had an opportunity to breathe if not for that shot from Walker on Ottinger? Because, my goodness, it felt like they were just being pressed by gravity and being crushed by the Stars.
It feels like that. They were just feeling the full weight of the Stars at their own end. It's just too much for them to handle for 3 minutes? And Josh Manson had a wide open look at the net, missed the top left corner entirely.
McKinnon wins the draw.
He does so here and is held inside by Taves. Colorado wants to force a Game 7. Back behind net, McKinnon looking for a look on the backhand, legging it loose in front. Swept wide and is picked up by Drouin. Drouin back to the point, it's Taves. Across for Girard, here's McKinnon. Long shot in front, swept wide. Ottinger almost had that one reach him. Cleared out, Taves will scoop it up. Had a star on his face and sent forward for McKinnon. And out this goes. Dallas clears again. Glove down by Girard. 6:50 has elapsed here in the first overtime. Girard will skate up with this. Skating down to the right side. The pass too far for Rantanen. Ottinger will place it out on his backhand for Heiskanen at the far side. Heiskanen clears this one all the way out. And this will be an icing as Makar was the first there. 7:05 gone.
I'm not sure. We'll see who this bounces off. Lehkonen, and then a stick and a tie-up at the last second of Jonathan Drouin. He would have slam dunked that thing into an open net, if not for Essa Lindell. Game saver.
I wonder if some of the Nuggets players are watching this closely. Now you mentioned slam dunk. Maybe even some current, former. Nikola Jokic, Carmelo Anthony, anyone.
This is pure theater, Alec.
And boy, we're getting it here. Heiskanen will send this one all the way down the ice. It's gloved down by Walker. Almost gets shoved off. Now here's Walker on Heiskanen. Walker will wait. Around for Cogliano, the ex-star. Through the far boards. Harley intercepted a pass. And will get this over. Through the ice is Tyler Seguin. 2-on-2 as Ben with him. Jamie Benn just sends it off to the right pad of Georgiev. And Walker will get this one up for Middlestat. Middlestat from the penalty box doors will send this one down. Ottinger leads it for Petrovic. First game in the playoffs for Petrovic since he was a Florida Panther. This one deflected inside. Georgiev will leave it for Taves. Devon Taves rushed. Now was Stankoven coming from behind. On the far side, the entry feed. Colorado waiting with this is Colton. Shut off on the entry. And this will be recollected by Taves, who fires this from the near boards. Ottinger for Suter. Rushed by Kiviranta. Will play this over for Stankoven at the far boards. More than 8 minutes has elapsed here in the first overtime. Here's Robertson, Kerwin, drag! This one off Georgiev. Still in play. Over to Lindell at his own zone. Lindell waiting for options. He'll look to the near side and sends it on deflection in. Back for Taves, who recollects it away from Marchment. Marchment kept this one alive at his own. Pavelski there as well. McKinnon left it for Johnson. And to the right side, here's Arturi Lehkonen, who scored 2 overtime winners, both being series winners to get his teams to the Stanley Cup final. McKinnon in front, the slapper! Ottinger keeps this game alive! Lehkonen wanted the win!
What a pass. And behind the net, and no look there from Nathan McKinnon to try to set up Lehkonen from the left dot, and Ottinger stands tall.
That was so close. And Jason Robertson also had a close call as well. He had a way open look. Alexander Georgiev just jumped up to make the save, shoulder save as well.
It jumped up and then it bounced off his helmet. We've seen that twice in this game so far.
How ridiculous can this game go? Well, the ridiculousness isn't apparently enough, with Georgiev having stopped 26 of 27 Dallas shots. Ottinger is 21 of 22. Avs trying to force Game 7. Here's McKinnon, who sends this over right behind Ottinger's crease. Wendell sticked it away. Cannot be held in by the Avs. Has to go all the way down to Gerard, who will pick this one up and reset. 10:56 remains here in the first overtime. Here's Makar. The deep pass goes right by Chris Wagner. And Wagner slams his man to the wall. That was Heiskanen. Here's Ranton, spun around by Harley. Ranton sent this back to the point. Deep shot. Taves in front. That was blocked nicely by Johnston, who is feeling the effects of the block. He is stunned. Oh, that's gotta hurt. He's gonna feel that tomorrow morning. Taves keeps this one in. Back for Manson. Manson sends it over to Ranton. Back for Manson. A drive. Who's in front? Another block by Jamie Benn. Taves on the hold right around the near corner. Advance further. Wagner also there. Can't clear it out. Here's Manson with it. Manson around. Twisting and turning. Wagner shoves Heiskanen again. Some of the few Stars fans calling for interference here will play on. Here's Manson one more time. Right around for Rantanen. Rantanen looks back. Here's Wagner. Bouncing puck in front. Dallas is going to ice this all the way back. And this is the part where I turn this over to you.
Evgeny Dodonov, again, one of the many shot blocks that Alec just called. He was stunned on the right side of the leg in an instep. He stayed in the play. He was pretty much crawling near the right side dot as the Avalanche tried to hemorrhage and get some pressure. He's making his way to the bench and getting all sorts of pats on the back. That's a warrior.
Yeah, I feel he's going to have to take a break for a moment here. He's a warrior for blocking that shot. My apologies for getting the name wrong, but it appears he's going to go down the tunnel to be evaluated by the medical staff.
Nathan McKinnon against Jamie Benn, and then pretty much after this we'll have the ice scrapage if we don't get a goal so we can all take a breath. We're going to get set to do this puck drop again. Nobody kicked out of the circle just yet. 29 and 14, and 14's got the captaincy. We'll get it for the Stars. As we're underway in this OT, we switch back over, and again, we'll see what happens going in the second. We'll continue to keep our pipes sharp and switch as we need to, because we don't know how long this is going to go. It is knocked away from Lehkonen and back to the Avalanche decor. As they'll get this in the left side red line, Nathan McKinnon, a knuckle puck, find an entry in the left side red line, try to wrap it all the way around, but the Stars get a stick on it and cancel it off for number 29 as Harley sent it across for Miro Heiskanen. A rocket of a pass from 70, Matt Duchene, former Av, will try to get it, but it's Nathan McKinnon, the current one, will spin. He gets dispossessed, drops his stick for a moment as the Stars will funnel it back out of their own end. There'll be an opportunity for Walker as he'll look to start this again. He was the pickup from the Philadelphia Flyers. Can he be a hero? Who is going to be the hero? Jake Ottinger, as this is played in behind the net. This is back in the neutral zone with the Avs. Jack Johnson able to spin away from danger. Cogliano with a chip and chase. Try to get it himself, but Ryan Suter, former Pred, as this will be answered back in the defensive end. The Avalanche with a ton of speed, and Josh Manson will try to chip this off the glass, but it's now on the left side red line and cleared in by Peter DeBoer's squad. It hits Alex Georgiev, and now the Avs will take this left to right. The cerulean and maroon entry down the left wing side. Here's a cross pass, not sure why, but this is picked up by the Avs. Mikko Rantanen, right side red line. He goes for a sharp angle pass, goes in off the dasher, and sent back in. Mikko will get this now as this is spun around the end boards and sent back to the Stars. Joe Pavelski, who Ian Genji called for the game winner. He's got it now. Pavelski still trying to stick handle. He'll drop it to Lindell. Fired toward the net wide. Right side red line. Mason Margement, toe drag. Lindell had the puck jump off his stick. So they got to go back. 7:55 left to go in this OT, and we've been waiting for this ice scrapage for a while. Once this puck is dead, this is sent around the end boards now for Marchment. He will make a combination play with Sagan. Wraparound was dangerous. Again, Evgeny Dodonov in wraparounds. He's got that trait going. He just couldn't finish it. As this one goes out of play, 7:36.
Seeing so much happen here. So no commercial breaks. It's just ice scrapages all throughout. But so far, we has everything happen. Josh Manson almost got a second career playoff overtime winner. Kale Makar toe dragging his way onto Ottinger. Marchment tied up on a shot. We had Dodonov courageously block a shot. McKinnon on a turnaround shot as well. And then, as of late, was Jonathan Drouin, who got driven towards the net and could not poke it past Ottinger. Arturi Lehkonen at the one-timer stop by Ottinger. Just to recap, the more than first half of this first overtime.
Again, we only have 2 goals to tell you about in this game. The one in the second period, Mikko Rantanen on the power play from Jonathan Drouin and Kel McCarr, as that was rocketed in behind the net. And then Jamie Benn on pretty much a semi-break from getting to Donov and Tyler Seguin. That at 1:56 of the third. That's it, and that's all. As we sit 7:36 in the first overtime, Georgiev 27 out of 28. By far, to me, it's been his best game of the series. Jake Ottinger, Mr. Consistency as usual, 22 out of 23 for Otter. And one of these teams could go home tonight. If the Dallas Stars get this victory, they'll be waiting for the winner between the Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers. The Canucks have a 3-2 series lead over the Oilers. 31-10 of ice time for Miro Heiskanen, leads all skaters. You would expect a defenseman to do that. He is one of the very best. You also have Kel McCarr on the other side for the Avs. We've given all of our game winners on both sides. All that's left is to drop the puck after this ice scrapage. John Ott with you alongside Alec Nava and Genji. We're Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado, watching this one on TNT. The shot board is 28-23 Dallas in this 1-1 fantastic game. We get a offensive zone draw upcoming. This is going to be Tyler Seguin against Nathan McKinnon. Seguin wins it. It's Harley now. Extra pass. They score! No, they say they waved it off. Mason Marchment thought he won it, but we'll wait.
What?
Well, I think, is it on the basis of goaltender interference? We'll have to wait for the official call from our referees on the mic right now. Graham Skilleter. No goal! They have ruled it no goal on the basis of goaltender interference. This game is still alive.
Wow.
Let's take a
Let's
look
take
at
a look
this.
at this, fellas. Oh, yep.
That was clear. It obstructed Georgiev's vision. They thought they had it won with Matt Duchene. And it's not like Duchene Duchene was not being driven towards the net by Kel McCarr. He thought he had it. He thought Marchman had it won for them, had it taken away. I'm not sure if Pierre DeBoer is going to challenge it, but I don't think he should here because Duchene went onto Georgiev on his own. Unless if they're discussing it among the bench. Let's see the replay. Duchene, was there contact between the skates and the pads?
Except,
Go ahead, Ian.
well, actually, what the commentators are saying is that Duchene never entered the blue crease, so how could that be goaltend? So that's what they're arguing right now.
Yes.
If Duchene was outside the crease, technically he's not inside the goalie's territory.
I am looking at this in the sense of, I know Alec was talking about whether or not the push means something to me. We're going to get an official review, and Ian, your point's well taken. To me, what I saw initially is we're getting an overhead look. I think Kel McCarr pushes Matt Duchene into Georgiev, and that might be a game-winning goal for the Stars.
It could. I think it didn't come until the last second, which it happened. They are reviewing it. Peter DeBoer is not challenging it. The headsets are on. They're on the call with Toronto right now. So it looks like McCarr pushed Duchene at the last moment. And if it's on that basis, it should wipe off the goaltender interference.
That's what I'm leaning toward, gentlemen. I think we might have one. And Kel McCarr, man, he's going to be sick to his stomach if this is not overturned. Again, this would be one of the situations where it's called no goal. So maybe that's the only thing that Kel McCarr initially could feel good about. But if I'm leaning one way or the other, I might be leaning 80-20 goal here. We'll see. We're still waiting as the refs are looking at the iPad. But this could be GWG for Dallas, or we play on in the first overtime. That's what's at stake right now.
We don't know, but I'm with you on the 80-20. Well, it seems we have a verdict here. It may have came to a conclusion. Let's get the call here from Skeletor.
What are we getting? No goal!
No goal! Oh my goodness! They have upheld it! And the only ones that are smiling here are the Avalanche fans, especially the players, including Makar himself.
Let me ask you, gentlemen, real quick before I jump back in. Is the fact that it initially was called no goal a better chance for Colorado to make their case? Because I think the initial call might have been the reason why this might not be a goal.
I felt, because from what they may be seeing, I feel Pierre DeBoer has every right to be upset at this call. I mean, it was borderline, but I felt it was 80-20 that it would be overturned, that Makar shoved Duchesne lightly onto the goal. And that's what... And I felt that that should have been the basis if it was going to be overturned. But I feel they may have seen Duchesne just putting himself right onto Georgiev on his own before Makar was able to shove him further.
And you might be right, and that's why I asked the question. I'm going to jump back in. I wonder if they called it a goal initially and then went to review, if it would have been the same result. Because I feel like if they would have called it a goal initially, they might not have overturned it. That's why I asked the question. But we press on. 6:50 left to go in this OT, should we need it. We thought Mason Marchman had one. Jimmy Benn might have one. Is this a diving shot block? A push the other way, and the theatrics and the heartbeat can start to ramp up again. And this is why I'm thankful to have Alec Navani and Gedgen here with me, because we can continue to bounce back through this play-by-play and stay fresh, because we might be here a while. Here's an opportunity off the touch pass. And now Mikko Rantanen will get dispossessed. Opportunity, Josh Manson. He'll backhand it. This one goes wide and out of play.
Oh, the last time that we were together here for a Dallas game, well, it didn't go the way we were wanting it. It was absolute domination. But I did call the other overtime playoff game between Colorado and Dallas. That was the Miles Wood winner on the comeback. We'll have to see if Colorado has some magic into them, because the fact that this was no goal, you could argue that it gives the Avalanche the momentum now.
We'll see, as Rantanen, I think Gerard, he's the one that fell down. 6:05, as to the right side, offsides are the Dallas Stars. We haven't seen a lot of pushing and shoving. I don't think we will now, as we'll wait for another draw.
I mean, just 2 penalties so far in this game, both occurring in the same period. This is pretty much disciplined hockey, the way both coaches like it between DeBoer and Jared Bednar.
And I want to throw this out there, correct, that this pretty much has to be an egregious penalty for the refs to call one now, late in OT, correct?
Yeah, they don't want to call that many penalties in overtime. The only times they're doing it is if it's clear and obvious, much like if it is a clear foul late in the game in basketball. Such was the case in the women's Final Four between Iowa and UConn, when it was a clear offensive foul on UConn.
Robertson, Johnston, see if they can make something play. And that one just knocked away. It was dangerous. Race for the puck, Miles Wood. See if he'll be the first to emerge on the other side for 28. And this one is picked up by the Stars. Good outstretched pass across the left side, red line, and Wyatt Johnson, the youngster, makes a smart play. Here's an entry. Stankovic and pass for Robertson. And this one fought off by Georgiev, but he didn't look comfortable as this goes to the left side, red line. Here are the Avs off the backhand. They'll set it down to Esa Lindell. And he'll look to take a breath for Peter DeBoer's squad. 5:15 left to go in the first OT, should we need it. OT chances are 6-3. Here's an opportunity now for Smith. As is on the left side, Georgiev able to cancel it off with the stick. It's the Avs now. They'll try to make this pass out. Artturi Lehkonen, this one's clean. Should give them some speed in the zone as they'll change it. Go ahead and take their changes. As Lindell, the defensive partner, he'll be watching Chris Tanev. This will find the left side red line and take his change. Back and around the end boards now. This is with Dallas. Radek Faksa bounces away from him. And Duchesne steals it. Needs some help, though. Takes it D to D. Here's a long shot. This one goes off the left side of the backboards. Mason Marchment in behind the net. Dallas is getting the angle cut off by the Avs defense. Keeping it on the outside now. Duchesne, nice move. This one stick the side by Georgiev. He's got to get back in his crease though. One-timer. This one goes wide. Thomas Harley settle it back down left to right. Stutter step. Harley gets it back. Harley now set up a bomb. Georgiev makes the save. Marchment, as it's too far for Miro Heiskanen. And now we'll go into the players' bench. 4:02 left.
I agree with you that Georgiev does not look comfortable at his crease. Some of the saves that he has made, he has trouble focusing because there was one time in which he had to go off his blocker and it looked like he was going to rattle backwards and fall right onto his own net. He was helped out by Jack Johnson, and even one of them he had to kick off his pad, but he's looking more and more nervous because Dallas is pressuring. He's asking his teammates, can somebody please move up the ice?
I don't disagree with you, Alec. That's what I threw out there during the live call, and you're kind of wondering if Dallas sees that, because we called it. You know they have to see it. Left to right, Cerulean and Maroon trying to get in the zone here. Here's a couple of skates. Ross Colton sent it out in front, and this one gets blocked. Couldn't find Josh Manson. Now Wood. This goes back around the end boards for Joel Kiviranta. Wouldn't that be something if he scored the game winner, the former star, against his team? As this is picked up by Dallas. They'll try to take it right to left. Victory green tops, white with the black pants. Find the entry to Donov. He's had his skate shoes on. As this one sent back down. Left side red line, easily read. Bad guy to give it to. Nathan McKinnon. He'll take a wrister. He'll go back and try to get his own puck. Off the backhand, this gets tipped. It gets a stick out front. Here is a possible jailbreak for Johnston. And this shot goes wide. And that was almost a big-time misplay by Colorado. Now off the left side, trying to spin and turn. This is Stankoven with a wrister. This gets blocked in front before it ever hit Georgiev. That looked destined for the net. Now race the other way. And this bounces away from McKinnon. The Stars will get it again as it gets knocked away from Wyatt Johnston. 2:40 left to go in this OT. Lehkonen, his shot gets blocked. As this is an opportunity now off the spin and turn for the Avs, but Nico Rantanen loses the puck. Mason Marchment gets it the other way. Again, he thought he had the game winner. He could still get another one, and this one would count. As this goes to the left side, Wyatt Johnston. Mason Marchment now. Left side red line. He's trying to make a play as Duchesne gets a steal. Takes it D to D. Heiskanen. Here's a good left pad save for Georgiev. That one looked a little more confident as this one goes back now for Thomas Harley. He's been excellent on the top pairing for Peter DeBoer, and he kind of came out of nowhere. 2 minutes left to go in the first OT. Will we get a game winner or will we need another one? It's still 1-1. Jamie Benn had the latest goal early in the third, just about a minute, 10 seconds in from Dodonov's setup. As this is a knuckle puck back down the ice. And an opportunity for the Dallas defense one more time for Suter. This one goes into Colorado's end. No icing. And a good forward check here for the Stars. Can they steal it? Suter. Here's a one-timer. This one gets blocked. It's picked up now by Ben. Ben now. He'll get it near the right side. 1:20 left. Here's a one-timer. This goes high and off the left side glass. And now Colorado, they're just mercifully get it the other way. I definitely can tell you that Dallas has had the advantage in this overtime as this one sent in. 1:05 left. Dallas gets the steal. Sagan. This one bounces off of him and Nathan McKinnon. What a play to get it the other way. As Jonathan Drouin will be racing against Chris Tanev down to 50 seconds as this one is gloved. And across the Avs logo, Devin Tays. What a pass. He gets it. Left pad save. Unger. And Nathan McKinnon can't clean the rebound up. This goes the other way now. 35 seconds left to go on the OT. Wyatt Johnston. Drive. Georgiev will hold the goal line and make the save.
We've seen so much here in this overtime that we don't know who's going to get the win. It looked like McKinnon almost had it at one end. Wyatt Johnston looked to get his second overtime winner of the playoffs. Jason Robertson as well. So much action without a stoppage, and it looked like both teams They can relax for a bit, but soon enough they'll have to get their game faces back on. Georgiev is looking like the best that he has ever been. 32 saves and counting.
There are just times that you don't have words, and there's just times you need to stay silent and just marvel at what you're seeing.
The Stanley Cup playoffs in the second round between the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche. It's a 3-2 lead in the series for the Stars. Can they eliminate Colorado? This time in the second round, they faced heartbreak last year against the Seattle Kraken. And now Colorado trying to get another step closer. They want the revenge tour. That's what I capitalized it as. But this has been a great period for Dallas in OT. My question is, should we get to a second one, what's Colorado's response going to be? As this is now off the left side red line, time for one more entry. Bounced off Miles Wood. Good finish of a hit. It's Duchesne now. Down to 5 seconds. Finds the entry. Here's a pass. Miro Heiskanen cut off. We'll go to double.
If one overtime wasn't enough, how about two? And no, to the extent of which both are playing at, they're starting to tire out some more. You're starting to see more exhausted bodies. And as Sergei Bobrovsky noted out, that a goaltender, on average, loses between 10 to 15 pounds per game with the amount of work that they put in, unless their day ends early due to injury or a bad night. But we've seen the best that Dallas has looked so far in this game. Had several good looks to end it with Heiskanen from an extremely sharp angle. Georgiev held on to the right post to keep this game alive and on to a second overtime. The third time in this year's playoffs that we're going to a second overtime.
So, Alec, I know it's a little bit unprecedented for us, but I want to keep things fair in this double OT cast. You want me to I'll take this first 10 and then you close it this time?
Well, to keep things fair, let's have it at that. How about it?
Okay, we'll just continually rotate here until we get a winner. I'm glad that you're with me on the broadcast alongside Ian Genji. This is a fabulous, fabulous game. And dare I say, this will be the first time that we can call an instant classic with all three of us together since, I know it's been a couple seasons ago, but the Ryan Hartman goal in Game 1 against the Dallas Stars when it was the Minnesota Wild, when I remember being joined by you gentlemen on the first night of last year's Stanley Cup playoffs.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's a long game. We thought it was the game that looked like it was not going to end. That was back when I was in college, mind you, and now I'm over in the real world working. Now I get to see more playoff games more and more, even though I have more freedom at nighttime to do this. That this is a well-played masterclass on both sides, with Mikko Rantanen on the man advantage and Jamie Benn at 5-on-5 when he was on his own, coast to coast, receiving the feed, and it looked like it was a breakaway. It was a good look for him. We don't know who is going to emerge as the hero. We thought Mason Marchment was the hero, but a goaltender interference call, which was rather questionable, has kept this game alive.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to lean as well, and that's why I threw that out there and we talked about it a little bit. I wonder if the situation would have changed if it initially was ruled a goal, because I didn't know if there would be enough evidence to overturn it. I think the Avalanche got a little fortunate, in my opinion, that it was initially deemed a no-goal, because I felt like that could have been overturned otherwise. But we press on. I'm going to take a momentary break, and then I will step back in before we start, so I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
All right, so with the news around for the NHL, a mention about Craig Berube heading to Toronto. With any other coaching changes on the way, we don't know what's at stake for any other team around. But I'm also looking at through other headlines throughout the NHL. Well, so in the international championships, we have USA and Canada leading the way. USA has beat France at the IIHF World Championships. Canada is coasting through like it's their business to do so. And by the way, Game 5, Vancouver and Edmonton, something of note, Phil DiGiuseppe, he had a goal in that game right after he and his wife gave the birth of their son. He scored his first career playoff goal. It was instrumental in the win, but congratulations to the DiGiuseppe family for welcoming their son to this world. And also, about the Boston Bruins and other eliminated teams, what to do in the offseason later down, because it's, after the Bruins, they got eliminated, there may be some question mark to do. Do they go after a number one center in that regard? Because they're going number one center by committee between Charlie Coyle and Pavel Zacha. And when you have a number one center by committee, it's not enough. You'd want to hope that Matt Poitras gets back healthy. But at what point do you realize that you want to go after a number one center, or do you roll with what you have?
I don't know, Alec, because truth be told, I think the Bruins just need to restart. Let's look at it from a tactical perspective. The Boston Bruins have been, aside from 1 year, they have not lived up to expectations for almost a decade and a half.
Yeah, 15 years. I know this year, it was supposed to be a year of regression, and to be fair, standings-wise, they did regress, which was expected given that they lost Bergeron and Krejci. But once again, it's a year where they exceeded expectations. The Bruins, they were a popular pick, in my opinion, to miss the playoffs.
Yeah. At what point, I don't really know, other than restarting, what else can you do? I mean, Marchand has maybe, 2-3 more years of elite production?
Yeah, I can say that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this now because I just jumped back in and saw that you guys were talking about the Bruins. So I'm looking at cap friendly. No, you're right. I didn't realize that Brad Marchand is already 36. So cap friendly, I guess it's very nice of them. Very friendly that they've already moved on to 24-25 seasons. So Brad Marchand's only signed for one more year at 6.125, and then he's going to be a UFA.
He'll be sought after the market if he were to go elsewhere very heavily. But I doubt that he goes anywhere outside of Boston.
And it looks like, I just want to get the clarification here, that UFA at the end of 2030 for Charlie McAvoy and Hampus Lindholm, so you got the 26-year-old and 30-year-old locked in respectively. That's not all that bad. It does look like after this year, though, that the Boston Bruins do have quite a bit of money coming off the books that they could use.
Yeah, they do. They have a bit of money to use up.
I only wonder now, because Linus Ullmark, I'm looking at this, we know that Jeremy Swayman's going to get paid, and as he should be. But Linus Ullmark's only signed for one more year. So considering some of the moves that they make and the money that they do have, do you keep that legendary goaltending tandem of Swayman and Ullmark together? Or do you have to make some changes and continue, as Ian said, kind of retool that team a little bit?
I'd wonder.
Oh, I'm not talking about retooling.
You want to blow it up?
I mean, simply because, again, outside of 2011, what had the Boston Bruins done every year in the playoffs?
they've had almost like a Maple Leafs type run, haven't they?
Except they get out the first round and the second round, but outside that, it's been disappointment after disappointment.
Right.
Even when they get to the Cup Finals, you lose to the Blackhawks in, what was it, like 6 games?
6 games, and in Game 6, you let up 2 goals in 17 seconds.
Yep. And then you make it to the Cup Final again in 2019. You lose to the Blues in 7. And they almost blank you in Game 7 on your home ice.
Yeah. Had it not been for Matt Griswick.
I feel... Look, they turned the team around in 2017 or 2018 when they made those trades and everything worked out. But it's time. I mean, otherwise, they will... No offense, John, but unfortunately, they're the best example. Because if they try to continue this, they could go the Red Wings and Penguins route, where they're just mediocre. Now,
I'm not going to disagree with your points, Ian. I'm just looking at the side of it because I know we mentioned it. I just want to throw this out there. It looks like, combined with dead money and some of the other money coming off the books next year, just in forwards and dead money alone, it looks like they're going to have plus $37.5 million to spend. So they could be making a lot of changes.
All that money that they can use, plus with the number of free agents that they have in their disposal, who do they keep and who do they let go? Allmark is due for a pay raise. They're one of the best goalie tandems in the NHL, perhaps the very best goalie tandem in the entire NHL, and they play like it at their time.
I want to throw this out there too. I hope this isn't in outer space, but you still think TD Garden in Boston, the Boston Bruins, is a good free agent destination? Because I think it is.
I would.
I think with that much money, they have a possibility. I'm not going to disagree with Ian's points. I think he might be a little bit farther ahead of it than I am, but you're right. When you don't win and you have situations, especially after last year, to me, that was the culmination. Because when you had Patrice Bergeron and David Krejci and that all-time record, look, they probably revved the gas a little bit too much and tired themselves out. That's fair to say. Still, however, they should have done more than they did to lose to the upstart Florida Panthers. So your point is well taken. This is going to be a transition year after 24-25. So I will be interested to follow them. I think that is a good discussion on your guys' part.
Yes, Swayman's an RFA. Jake DeBrusk and Matt Griswick, they're UFAs. Derek Forbort, Kevin Shattenkirk are as well. Danton Heinen, Patrick Maroon, James Van Riemsdyk, they're all UFAs. Jesper Boquist is an RFA. I say Swayman stays. DeBrusk stays. JVR, I'm kind of in the in-between. Griswick, I was initially leaning stay, but I'm more in between now after he was healthy scratched several times. I think Boston could let him go in favor of Parker Wolverspoon.
I'm going to throw this out there now, not to transition because we can jump back into it. I just want to give the people their thoughts here because I threw out in the YouTube question. I said, are the Avalanche going to force Game 7? 14 votes. And good for you guys. An even split at 50-50. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's how tight it is. Though for most of this first overtime, it's been mostly Dallas. I know for series-clinching games going to multiple overtimes, the Stars should know that well. They've been in one in 2008 against the San Jose Sharks where it went to a 4-overtime marathon, and it wasn't until a Brendan Morrow power play goal that ended it, halfway in the fourth OT.
That is a name from the blast in the past. It kind of reminds me of playing NHL 2004 on my PlayStation 2.
I know Colorado, they've also been part of series-clinching OT games that went past the first OT when they won their first Stanley Cup. Uwe Krupp in the third overtime.
That was a giant of a human being that spent most of his time with the Avalanche, and I think he had a stint with the Red Wings as well.
I didn't know about the other one.
That was at the very end of his career, but I know he was a big redwood tree. We're about a minute and 30 seconds away from double OT. I think it is fitting. Honestly, just gut feeling on my part, I'm surprised that the Avalanche were able to get this to double OT in a 1-1 type game, because this feels more like a Stars type game to me.
It does.
Yeah. Quick question. Which player were you talking about just now? Which former?
UA Krupp. That was the name that Alec Nava threw out there, the giant of a man.
Oh, I'm not familiar with his game.
He's like a very unskilled Zdeno Chara.
Gotcha.
You got size, but no skill.
Oh, and he is the hero. Even the unlikeliest of players can be heroes.
That's what it goes to show you in this OT. Again, we're looking at that. I wonder how much of a talking point that's going to be in the story when that one gets published, whenever this game is done. And again, very thankful to have the gentleman here with me, Alec Nava and Ian Genji. I'll take you through the first 10, and should we need that, and then Alec will take you through the next 20. We'll rotate and continue to close, keep ourselves fresh. It's kind of like a continuous call to the bullpen, and we'll do this as much as we need to. Speaking of that, ice time through the first overtime, Kale McCarr is almost at 34 minutes now.
Yeah, I wonder how much Miro Haskin is it now. Kel McCarr, 33-48. Devontae's 33-15. Nathan McKinnon leading all forwards at 31-38. And that's no surprise given that he is comfortable with the usage that he has. Mako Rantanen, 30-29. As for Dallas, Miro Haskin 33-53. Edsel Lindell, 30-24. Thomas Harley, 30-23. We're underway. Second overtime. Take us away.
6 and 10 and multiple OTs. This could end it for the Dallas Stars and Matt Duchene. That would have been fitting, but he got dispossessed at the last moment. It's Parise now. Again, the voice register's already got to be at the top, so there is no warming up as this goes back around the end boards here. Wyatt Johnston, Mason Marchment on the prowl. Good skate. Wyatt Johnston. Look at the moves. He puts it back in behind the net. He couldn't find a passing lane, though, as this is kept in by Robo. Now stolen by Drouin. 19:05. We're just starting the second OT. John Ott with you alongside Alec Nava and Ian Genji. As we said, we'll continue to rotate. It's a 1-1 game. Haven't had a goal since Jamie Benn, about the first minute and a half of the third. And then it was Mikko Rantanen, the only one of the second for the Avs. It's 35-25 on the shot board. So everything that I mentioned with Alec in the first period about the shots not being concerned, well, you're definitely not for Dallas, because they own that first OT. They just didn't score. Georgiev had his maybe best game as an Av. Here's a chance off the rush. This one bounces. Can it be kept in the zone? No, as it's the Avs. They'll settle it back down with Jack Johnson. Can he light up the scoreboard? Man, if he gets that game winner, Ian, I'll have to buy you a lottery ticket. You tell me how much you want. As this is center on the right side, Ross Colton tripped up. And this will be picked up by the Dallas Stars. But he has shown his offensive game, so he's not wrong to make that pick, especially in this one. Here is an opportunity off that long out stretch. Left side red line cleared in by the Dallas Stars. Closed down by Georgiev. And off the inboards, Sam Girard. This goes all the way back down. But Alec, boy, oh boy, they start this OT, does Dallas, and they almost score again.
I mean, Matt Duchene was way open on a potential breakaway as he slides right by Josh Manson. And that was off a misplay by Manson. Georgiev just at the last moment before Duchene was able to roof this one. He brought Georgiev onto a fake. Manson at the last moment tried to swipe it away, but Georgiev doing the extra work to swipe this away from Duchene to keep this game alive.
Pavelski wins the draw to Miro. I'll send it back down. Here's the cross pass shot. This one gets blocked again. That hurt one of the Avalanche. They're immediately going to take some changes for Jared Bednar's squad. Here come the Stars again. Mason Marchment. This pass bounces off his stick, and this will be cleared down. Mikko Rantanen will watch as it's Mason Marchman taking left to right. Andrew Cogliano, he's the one that blocked. He looks like he might go right to the dressing room. And at this point, deep into OTs, especially in the second, you want to make sure, as Georgiev, he thought about holding it, he will play. But you got to keep as many fresh bodies as possible and rotate, because you can't have tired legs. You can give up a break like the Shane just got. Here's an opportunity for Parise. Now, Cale Makar. Can he be the hero? Here's a wrister. Loose on the front. Oettinger down. Somehow that doesn't cross the line. And we press on here. Left to right. Here is Dallas. They'll fire it in. It was a backhand shovel attempt a couple times for the Avalanche. It didn't go, though. And now here's a rush. Arturi Lehkonen. That was my game-winning goal. As he almost overskates it. He might get it back, though, as this one goes in off the glass. It'll be Sam Girard. We'll start it. 16:35 left to go in double. Here's a careless turnover. But Nathan McKinnon already back out there with Josh Manson, Sam Girard, second line pairing here for Jared Bednar's squad. Here's another pinball pass. Doesn't hit anybody but the Stars. Jamie Benn, forceful hit against Girard. It's near the right side glass. Stars had traffic out in front with Sagan, but it was tipped wide. And now the Avalanche emerge with it. Can they find an entry? Here's a chip and chase. Opportunity for Joel Kiviranta. This one goes wide. Bounced away from Ross Colton. And now back in behind the cage for Peter DeBoer's squad. This takes a fortuitous bounce for Colorado. Here's Colton. And the wrister goes right in the trapper of Oettinger.
Some unlikely heroes here with some looks to end it, including one from Alex Petrovic, as Georgiev almost misplayed it to himself on the stick, but at the last moment, got it back over to Taves. Then we have to look short side for Oettinger. How in the world this did not cross the line for Zach Parise? He can't even believe it. We both can't even believe it.
That was Parise's second time he had a chance for a goal in the right side of the crease, because in the second he got stick lifted. This time in double OT, Oettinger able to keep it out. So Zach Parise is going to be feeling sick to his stomach if they don't win this one. He's trying to get a Stanley Cup. If this one goes all the way back down, Dallas ices it.
Well, and whoever between these two former teammates, between Zach Parise and Ryan Suter, it's going to be emotional when we get the handshake line between them. Sure. Former Wild teammates as part of the two buyouts.
Absolutely. That is something that we got to keep in the back of our brain. That's a good outlook by you. 15:47 left to go in double OT should we need it. Again, about 5 minutes away from handing off to Alec Nava. I'll take you through the last 10 and then the first 10 of OT3 should we need that. As this goes now, Jason Robertson off the hold against Devin Tays. This will go D-to-D. Tanev is a hard-working forward. It'd be fitting if he got one. Again, it feels like I'm repeating myself on some of those, but again, as you mentioned, anybody can be the hero. Middle step. This pass from Makar. This goes Wanton. And now Tanev can start again. Left side red one. Dump it in. Make the safe play here. Again, we get about 10 more minutes into this double OT. You're going to start to see winded bodies. There's going to be a lot more chip and chase. You do not want to make any mistakes. Lehkonen overskates it. Here's Duchesne. See what he can set up. Here's a pass for Heiskanen. Ripper, and I don't think Georgiev ever tracked it. As this goes now back in behind the inboards. Pavelski too strong for him. Duchesne, good body work. He will stay on his feet. This will go back to Heiskanen. Here's a ripper, and Georgiev will fight that one off like he's swatting a fly. So some of these, when you're shooting up high, I don't think he's tracking all too well. We mentioned that in the first OT. Might want to be mindful of that if the Stars just start roofing this thing toward the post. 14:30 left to go in this double OT. Get some forward changes for the Stars, as they didn't really gain the line, but this will be a good bounce for the Stars. It goes off an Avalanche stick. Now Manson off the back skate. Offsides is the call.
Miles Will was pivoting. I think that was the basis of the offside call. He entered before the puck got across the line, but Miro Heiskanen up high off a shot block. It looked like that was a block. A clutch one by Nathan McKinnon to send us towards the backboards.
What hasn't he done in this game, Mr. Alec Nava? He's been everywhere.
He's been everywhere. Offensive zone, defensive zone, even blocking shots off his stick. Heiskanen's going to be sick to his stomach, like you said time and time with Parise and Badanov, if the Stars don't win this.
So Wagner in on the draw. Again, I didn't have him on my roster sheet, but Chris Wagner, fourth line center, be Brandon Dumaine and Andrew Cogliano. But if Andrew Cogliano doesn't come back, maybe Joel Kiriviranta, as this is now on the left side, will be picked up here for the Stars. As they'll get this on the left side. They're trying to go left to right in this double OT with the victory green tops, white jerseys, and black pants. They ice it, though. So we'll go to the cerulean and maroon here with 13:59 in this double. And it looks like Cogliano is back onto the players' bench. That's a good sight.
Yeah, he is. I think the strategy here is to have short shifts for Cogliano, given that he is banged up. And that may be the same strategy if this goes further for Dadonov, but Cogliano's helmet forcibly removed.
Mikko Rantanen thought he won it clean, but we'll do it again. Again, we're at Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. This is Game 6. Dallas has a 3-2 series lead. This is next goal wins territory. It's been that way since the start of the first OT. We're in double right now as this is spun back around the end boards. This is Sam Steele with a long flip. We'll see if Colorado can be the first to it off the chip. A vertical leap, not all for naught. It's Trey Lehkonen. Some of his past selections have not been good, but it's Mikko Rantanen now. Finds the entry. Rantanen down the middle. He'll try to route past the Lehkonen. It's on the line, but Unger says no.
What sequences we're having. In the first OT, it was all Dallas. Now it's all Colorado in the first 6.5 minutes of the second overtime. Jake Ottinger had trouble tracking this, with Mikko Rantanen on the drive past two Stars defenders. McKinnon in front for Lehkonen. You pointed him out as your possible overtime winner selection. He almost had one there. Lehkonen, but Ottinger was helped out off the stick of Wyatt Johnston, who saves the goal.
We're getting it all here, and again, it's going to have to be instant classic when this gets uploaded. I have to put those two words in. I like to do that when these games are clutch and they're fun. Well, this one has been absolutely extraordinary. We're in double OT, 13:25 into it now. I'll be getting set to handle this off to Alec Navin. It'll take us through the next probably 40 minutes, should we need it, as this one goes now. And to the left side, Josh Manson. He slows down. He falls down. This is with the Stars. They're trying to be a forcible poke check to get out of the zone, but this is with Dallas. Bounces up into the air, and then a hand pass is called. That is a break for Colorado because they were discombobulated.
I think there was more of a high stick on that last play, but either way, he'll take it. And whether it be hand pass or high stick, who gives a darn in Denver? They'll take this break any day.
37-28 on the shot board. Again, we mentioned your goal scorers, and Mikko Rantanen and Jamie Benn. It seemed like yesterday, well, because it actually was at this point, 1:49 Eastern, for me at least, so we'll be up late until this is done, and then a game story. So don't know how long it's going to be if this continues, but we're going to give you this whole game nonetheless, as it's Devin Tays here for Kel McCarr, now Miles Wood. Left side off the spin and way off sides. There was not a care in the world right there. We get a stoppage.
I mean, Kiviranta, we speak of him offside. This man was way onto the state of Utah on that offside.
12:55 left to go here. John Ott, Alec Nava, Ian Genji. Thank you guys for being troopers and sticking with me here. This is a neutral zone draw. Ross Colton against Joe Pa. Pavelski wins it clean. Again, he's finally gotten on the score sheet in this series as far as goals. He can certainly get another, especially if a deflection. And we get another call here by 12:45. So you can kind of tone down the voice a little bit. We're starting to see the energy maybe get sapped a little bit for both of these teams. It's getting late.
Yeah, with the energy of this crowd, we're also seeing the effects of how the body can wear down over time. We're seeing more offsides, more icings here. They're getting more prevalent here in this second overtime. And I think fatigue is starting to be a factor. How long do you limit their shifts on these lines? Do you get them down to 40 seconds or how about 30 seconds?
Those are good takes there. And Mikko Rantanen was taking the draw instead of Nathan McKinnon there. So we'll watch that, trying to get him set up for a face-off and a shot off of it. But all for naught there is Dallas. will have this off the left side red line. It bounces away from Nathan MacKinnon, and this is a long flip down the ice, and this will be blown dead against Dallas. So again, if you're Jared Bednar, I get your top unit out there, try to get a quick face-off and a shot. You never know what's going to happen here, but this might be your best opportunity.
Yeah, quick face-off win, do a set play off the face-off, much like what Dallas did and what Mason Marshman thought he had the game winner. How about a set play off the face-off? Get it back to the point, get a quick shot, position someone in front for a rebound to bank this one in, and send us over to Game 7 in Dallas.
So, Gerard, you got Lehkonen on one side, MacKinnon on the other. He was playing left wing. He's got the draw now. He'll fire it toward the net. It was saved by Ottinger and Nathan MacKinnon. And I couldn't even tell if he's tired. He was still spinning around to try to keep this alive. It's with the Avalanche. Now Walker doing some yeoman's work. We'll take this D-to-D. Now Nathan MacKinnon fired it toward the net. And Ottinger makes the glove save.
For a screen set by Mikko Rantanen on the 30th shot for Colorado. Ottinger sees this the way, gets out the way of the screen at the right time to see this long shot from MacKinnon. And I know Rantanen tried to see the vision, and he wanted to deflect this up. Stick was shoulder level, was legal if it were to be a goal.
Yes, it was. And again, Petrovic, he was the one that had to battle the screen there with Mikko Rantanen. And honestly, even for the limited minutes that he's played, and won't be so limited if this game continues, I think he's been pretty good here for Dallas.
Good filling in for Niels Lundqvist.
Yeah. As this goes down to the left side boards, he's spun around now. And this will be Tyler Seguin with 11:45 left to go in the double. Devon Tays, as this one is picked back up now by the Avalanche. Here's Brandon Domain. We'll try to get a chip and chase himself. A couple stick lifts. The Avalanche will get this in behind the net. Cogliano gets destroyed. Goes D-to-D. One-timer goes way wide and behind the cage. The shots are now 36-30. As Alec mentioned, again, he's about to take over in another minute. 36-30 on the shot board. Colorado finding a press in the second OT, and they needed to because they were getting bludgeoned by Dallas in the first. But it's still 1-1 as it's now picked up by the Stars. Quickly shovel it the other way, and it's a race for the puck. Jack Johnson's got to be exhausted right now as he's on that bottom six portion of the pairing. 10:55 left to go in this double. Here's an opportunity off the lip. Middlestad from Drouin as this goes back in around the end boards. Here is loose near the right side. Manson can't hold it. Brandon Tanev will try to take it the other way. It's too far for Wyatt Johnston. Colorado able to get a stick there. And now spun back around in the defensive end for Tanev. Might as well take this over now, Alec.
All right, so now you're handing it off to me with 10:30 left to go in the second overtime frame. So we're still with you here the rest of the way until we have a winner. So now it's 10:25. Dallas is in the Colorado zone. Looking to end it here. No shot in there for the left circle. It's the Avs back up with it. Looking to extend this series. Here's Mikko Rantanen to the near side. Alec Nava, John Ott, Ian Genji here. Game 6, double overtime. 1-1 is our scoreline. Here's Heiskanen. From across the red line, he'll send it over to the near corner of the Colorado zone. Makar will pick this one up. Almost had it shoved aside. It's the Avs still with this. They're tied up. Bouncing over to the far corner where it's Rantanen picking this one up. It'll get this one down deep to center. Miles Wood tracking this one. It was too far for him. And now entering back is Tyler Seguin. To the right circle, spinning around, pirouetting. And around this goes over to the far wall, Jamie Benn holding. Further around this goes, pass down and out onto Seguin at the far corner. Seguin surveying his options. Tyler Seguin drops back over to Ryan Suter. Suter fires it wide. Tried to end it there. Wood tried to get it out. Bouncing puck goes over to Colorado, but it's Ben on the hold. Here's Jack Johnson. Johnson up for Wood. Wood gets this one all the way down. It's a foot race. It bounces. Ottinger thought about it, and only first reached by Suter for the icing, and Colorado heavily disagrees with it.
Absolutely. Ross Colton is incensed at the 9:19 marker. Again, we're probably going to get close to another ice scrapage here. No commercials here in this OT as this continues, but we're going to continue to move in and out of the bullpen. That was awfully close. That was a close call.
Yeah, I thought Ottinger had plans to play this one out, but second guessed it, seeing that it was going to be icing. But I feel that I feel that you had to wave that one off.
Matt Duchene, this was almost right into the second OT. A good aggressive goalie there from Georgiev. Maybe Duchene a little bit unlucky. And then Zach Parise gets bowled over by Tanev for a backhand finish, and the Miro Heiskanen shoots wide. Another one for Lehkonen in between the sticks, if not for Robertson, as Alec Nava mentioned. And Lindell, they probably could have got a win there with Lehkonen and Parise.
Yeah, we had some great close calls so far in the second overtime as Jake Ottinger is stretching his pads. We are getting our ice scrapage, so technically we are getting some rest for the tired bodies on the ice. They have to stay out there because Colorado has iced this puck, controversially that is. But still, it is a 1-1 hockey game, second overtime. Mikko Rantanen for Colorado, Jamie Benn for Dallas.
Gotta wonder, because Dallas already played a 7-game series, and the little girl behind Peter DeBoer is completely passed out. I know how she feels right now. I'm tired too. But Dallas has got to be tired. They already played a 7-game series, and now they're playing a deep one against the Colorado Avalanche.
I wouldn't call this a marathon just yet. I think I'm going on the lines of half marathon because of the second overtime. But as soon as it gets to a third overtime, that's when we can call it a marathon.
It's starting to become a long game, but boy, oh boy, has it been entertaining. Second period OT shots 5-2. I mean, you could kind of add a 1 next to that in the first overtime, because I think Dallas had about 12 or 15. I mean, they were all over the Avalanche, and I don't know how it didn't end then.
Me neither. Has so many great looks. You have already had some kids who are sleeping in the arena. I know it's a weekend here. You don't have any school for this current moment in the weekend. The kids can relax. But for the losing team, can we really call this one relaxing among the kids that are watching this?
No, your heart's racing right now.
Very indeed.
And I'm not gonna lie, fellas. I'm struggling right now.
I'm still here with you guys. We're still here with you guys. Alec Nava, John Ott, Ian Ganji here. 9 minutes to go in the second overtime. Here's Heiskanen on the hold. Here's Harley deep. Shot went wide of Georgiev. Stankoven on the hold. Can Dallas send it here? Stankoven right behind it. Stankoven on the wraparound. Tipped in front. And it went past everyone, including Georgiev. Now here's Colorado on the other side. Kiviranta will instead dump this one through and up for change. Tired bodies on the ice. Everyone's exhausted. Here's Heiskanen down around. 8:33, second overtime remaining. Joe Pavelski backhands this one to keep it in. Matt Duchene surveys for the far side. Round for Pavelski. Pavelski back for Duchene. Duchene in front for Pavelski. Tied up as Marchman. Georgiev on the seat. Duchene scores! The former Avalanche player! They took it away from Dallas once. They won't take it away from them now. The stars are shining all over Northwestern North America.
Holy cow. Matt Duchene is the one that finishes it off, and he says, let's effing go. He's pumped up. Dallas goes to round 3. They wait the winner of the Edmonton Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. What a game this was.
It's honestly poetic.
It is.
It surely is.
Yeah. Oh, man. Fellas, I don't know if I have enough to do a post game, so I don't know how much I'll be able to chime in, but yeah, this was a hell of a game.
There is no chance on earth that Georgiev able to make that save. I think Pavelski, maybe in the middle of that pile, gets a stick on it, or it bounces. Yeah, he does. He gets a stick on it. And Georgiev, down and out, gets it right to Duchene, and no problem, cashes it into a seemingly empty net.
That's a gimme. All but certain that Duchene was going to bank this in to eliminate the Colorado Avalanche. That stars on to their third Western Conference final in the last 5 years. They'll have to wait for who emerges from all the rubble up in the oceans of the Pacific Northwest between Vancouver and Edmonton.
Alec, I won't keep you long because I know it's been a long game for all of us. But just immediate thoughts. Again, we're waiting for Gabe Landeskog to come back. We've been waiting for 2 years now. I understand the Val Nichushkin situation is quite ugly, but this core of Mikko Rantanen, Kel McCarr, and Nathan McKinnon are still here. I still think they're good enough to do it, but because of the salary cap and all that, I mean, we're probably looking at the same team, correct, going into the next few years.
Yet, they can run it back next year. We're looking pretty much at the same team for the next few years. My only question now is, should Gabe Landeskog come back, what happens to the depth? I feel you have to do a little shakeup because his cap hit is $7 million.
Right. Yeah, there'll be some things to think about. Again, Peter DeBoer didn't have to need Game 7 for his undefeated record. Honestly, I'm happy for Matt Duchene. I understand. And I think about it going into the offseason where he pretty much get the buyout. He could go anywhere. He goes to the Dallas Stars, and now they're going to the Western Conference Finals. And I know, 2020 when they played the Lightning in the Stanley Cup Finals, and the Lightning won it. But honestly, this is probably one of the best Dallas Stars team they've ever had.
Perhaps the best that we've seen since the Mike Modano years, and that's saying something. This is the best Dallas team that we have seen. They are deep. They are loaded. Perhaps primed for a Stanley Cup run. And at the preseason, I had them going all the way to the Stanley Cup final. I had them losing, but I think they still have a realistic shot of winning it all.
I agree with you. What a fantastic game it was. I'm glad that you can join me for this one. Admittedly, with some plans tomorrow, I might not be calling Game 6, but should we need Game 7 between the Canucks and the Oilers, I will be here for Monday. You have a good night, gentlemen. You rest well. You've earned it.
Good night, everyone. What a fun game.
Good night, y'all.